A last minute spectacle clean before we do this. Have I plugged everything in? I think I've plugged everything in. I think everything is just about ready to go. So I'm just cleaning my glasses. Right at the last second, I noticed they were a wee bit sort of fuzzy. I think I've actually damaged these glasses in some way. Have I damaged them in some way? They're not looking perfectly clear anymore. There's obviously been chemical contamination has occurred. Good evening, Scott, Wade, Kevin, Hardesty, Stephen, Petite Mouse is here, and it's jumping up. Snowman, Bailey, and it's flying up. It is going up so quickly. Let us start with the sterilisation. I've got so much choice for sterilisation. Having got one of the cheap ones last week off eBay, from a UK seller who was selling them for about £5 each, including shipping, which is too little. I wondered if that's because they didn't have the little magnetic swivel base. So I ordered a couple more, and they didn't come out with the magnetic swivel base either. Either they're being sold pure as a handheld sterilising wand, or they are maybe just being sold off cheap because they're missing that little bit at the bottom. Not really sure. I think it might just be because they're being sold as a sterilising wand, they've removed that. Strange. But anyway, I shall use the traditional one, which is fully charged, to sanitize and sterilize, and I shall do my best to stay awake. Sterilization in progress, because I didn't get much sleep last night, and then when I did get to sleep, Ralph turned up. Not great. So I'll be sleeping on my feet right now. Sterilization in progress. And with that, the image actually froze. That's good. So good evening, technical family. Liz Edwards is here, Litterpicker's here, the Chipmunk's here, amongst others. Big Huff. It's time to toast. Who do we toast? Who is the first toast? No carbonated wine. I do have a bottle of wine, but it's always a bad idea to drink wine. You know what I'm like with wine. Kevin Arce says still $25 upwards on Amazon. That's ridiculous. Chapel Chicks is here. Clive, please can you thank him from the bottom of my heart for their kind generosity. I've been overwhelmed with emotion. You're welcome. It's good to help you out, Chapel Chicks. You definitely need a little boost to get things back in action. Human Seagull's here. Oh, Human Seagull will be out at the pub again, probably. Because the pubs are open, and suddenly he's going to be spending 10 times as much on his beer for the same amount of beer. Or is Human Seagull joining us from home? I'm scrolling up and down here, just seeing who's here. China North Airgun says you must drink wine. Maybe I'll drink wine. We'll see what happens, but you know what happens when I drink wine? Sometimes I have to delete the stream. I'll put it private afterwards, just because sometimes I say terrible things. This is just obvious. How is the quality you're getting here? Because this is just frozen up on me, the signal I'm getting back. But that's what happens sometimes. Jaeger Munion. Ah, yes. So did we decide who Jaeger Munion was going to be too? It's absolutely flying up here. It is flying up here. Tell you what then, since we're flying up, since it's flying up, I shall just grab the first Jägermeister until we've decided who to toast. And let's toast Chapel Chicks again, because Chapel Chicks, that little boost is actually going to help a significant way, I hope. That should be good. To Chapel Chicks. Super medicinal goodness. So, hello to Vienna Mariano. Bailey Anderson says slow. Wavemaker says Prost. Slash says Midnight Joker. Thank you, Chris Dunn. Much appreciated. Bailey Anderson says Skol. So many cheers. We used to say cheers. Smoke says hello from Bulgaria. Greetings back to Bulgaria. Toast Clive Sinclair. Now, there is a possibility I could toast Clive Sinclair because he does, and it would be appropriate because he likes his tipple. It would be appropriate because he had a significant effect in the computer industry. He kind of, he didn't make the first affordable computers, but he made the most affordable computers, and that kind of kicked things off. Randy Laz, greetings back to America, the USA. Star Delta, greetings back to Peterhead. I've been in Peterhead. I was working in Peterhead. I think I was doing a London Poly, refitting it, I'm not really sure. Or was it a Holland and Bar? I'm not really sure. It was a long time ago. He made the first pocket calculator. Yes, he did. Because he discovered that the high power consumption of the chip could be reduced by pulsing it with power and it would still retain its settings, so he abused the chip. Did I give Peter a head? No, Revu, I did not. Scruff Dogs here. And Furbear, of course. Sinclair made the first sub-100 computer. It was the ZX80. It was a bit pish, but the ZX81 was a big improvement, but it's a good start. Oh, was that the first computer was the little board computer that he made? He's made quite a few computers before the ZX80 turned up. Simon Walker says, I had a Sinclair calculator kit. I think I saw those kits in magazines, but couldn't afford any of the stuff. Stuff wasn't affordable back then, but then it did become affordable. Digitizer song about Sir Clive is so catchy. I've not come across that, Barbell Hansen. I'm just going to do a search for Digitizer, Clive Sinclair. I won't play it right now because that causes problems with music. Digitizer Sinclair. Or is it actually got another name for it? Sinclair's fucking inventions. Okay, I see a video. The Ballad of Sir Clive Sinclair. Okay, I shall just basically, yes, I'll like that and then I'll go back and look at it afterwards. That's the best bet. Rather than get distracted at the moment. Did we not already drink a toast to Almond Brown Strauger for the automatic telephone exchange? I'm pretty sure we did that. But then there's no harm in sometimes doing it. More than once. Toast Jim Steinman. Jim Steinman. Jim, am I supposed to know who that is? An American composer. Was an American composer. Oh, it's people who have just died again. This is not the way to go. But composed for Footloose, A Small Circle of Friends, Bonnie Tyler, Holding Out for a Hero. Or, okay. Was Meatloaf's mate until that event? Oh, right, okay. Dennis Smith. I don't really follow that. My style of music was not Hoggle from Labyrinth, Mr. Eggcake. Okay. Chapo Chick says, where's Uncle Kim? Uncle Kim has not been here for a while. Well, not in his Uncle Kim guise. He may be here in other guises. He has multiple personalities on the internet, I believe. Greetings, Leon Pipers. Bob Lazar. Meatloaf is not dead. No, he's not dead. I don't think. Bob Lazar. Should I know who this is? A conspiracy theorist who was hired in the late 1980s to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology at what he described as a secret site called S4. So, right, someone with psychological problems then. Let's not toast him, it might encourage his psychological problems. Was Uncle Kim reincarnated as Anon? I don't think so, John McFerrin. It was a different personality. What was it? It was quite demanding, so I'm not really sure. Rex Gard. I think we have toasted Rex Gard, but it is a worthy one. Remind me and we may toast Rex Gard in the next, at the next point we reach that. Buckminster Fuller, that's worthy. First human in space, Paul Slutman, Yuri Gagarin. That was scary. That would have been just terrifying in a way. Alan Turing has been toasted many times. But yes, I think we've also toasted Tim Hunkin. We've toasted most of the current and many of the past scientific people. Mm. David Ick, yes, indeed, the chipmunk. Let's toast him with electroforks. Delia Derbyshire, says Julian Eilert. Let's do Delia Derbyshire. Is this going to be inappropriate, Julian? Derbyshire. Oh, a musician. Oh, and we're going to toast the Paddy's Kingland and the rest of the posse at the radiophonic workshop. The stereophonic workshop sounds quite good as well. But yes, the Doctor Who lady, we did her last week. Okay, I think we did do her last week. Well, not do her as such, but we toasted her. But there we go. So, subjects, what have I got? Oh, I found something in amongst my stuff. Thanks, Silver Fox Woven. That is hugely generous. And thank you, Jimmy. Much appreciated. Remember to keep the contributions low. It's good to keep things low. Gadget, I found. This was inspired many moons ago. I was working on a prestigious contract and they put in these architectural marker lights around the walls, which were the state of the art. They were the first with blue LEDs. And they were 12 volt, and the electrical company installing them connected them to 24 volt, and they all went up in smoke. And when I saw how much they said, can you fix these? And I opened one up, and it was using a linear current regulator based on 2 transistors instead of a resistor, just so there was constant intensity all the way around. But I was looking at them, and then they told me how much they cost, and it was like, what? It was ridiculous. So it got me into designing my own little marker lights for around the walls, which are based on the MR16 frames, but with a little circuit board with, what era is this? 2001. Really? Is that 2001 I designed that? Clive 2000, just in case I forget who it was. But it's using a SIL resistor array. How many resistors in series? It's got 4 LEDs in series of each resistor, so kind of this one's only suitable to the sort of, I suppose that would work for, it would be a bit dim with the blue LEDs. Do you know what? This would look quite nice with the flashing LEDs. That's something I may revisit. Yeah, that's something I may revisit. I could show you that going. I did look out some stuff that could possibly let me show you that lit up. A jack. A couple of Molex contacts. I'll just drop them onto the keyboard here. A 2-pole Molex connector. These are red LEDs. I don't have to worry about getting the polarity mixed up too much. I'm trying to remember what polarity I was using back then. I think it's standardized fairly early on. They should check the input voltage next time, Jonathan Hughes. Well, they just used the power supply that was sent out with them, which was 24 volts, but for the 12 volt lights. So not 100% their fault, although you say they should have checked. Well, the supplier should have sent the right power supply out. Or maybe they ordered their own power supply. Let us use this crimping tool to, actually I'll just recrimp. I'll reposition that slightly. Oh, that's all going horribly wrong, as it would. Nothing quite like having a camera running to make things go wrong with a crimping tool. As I demonstrated in my video about crimping stuff, where just about every crimp failed because the camera was running. That's what happens. The perils of YouTube, the perils of live TV is, as demonstrated repeatedly in Tomorrow's World. Right, I'm going to have to open that. I'm going to have to undo the ratchet here and get this open again. And oh, and I've dropped the terminal. Okay, yes, let's grab another terminal. I have lots. It's the little Molex connectors, so there's plenty of them. What are you guys saying? I crimped one off earlier on, says Spider Driver Lee. Indeed. Is that a new definition is that a new term for it? Crimping one off. I think I've just squeezed that too tight again. I'm getting overzealous because this wire is just on the borderline of actually fitting that crimp. Bear with me. Oh, is it going to go in? Is it going to go in? It's kind of gone in. That'll do. Crimp. It's done. I'll put the tool down there. And we shall put this crimp in here. And this crimp in here. What's the bet? I got the polarity the wrong way around. I think I used a standard polarity by that point in time. I shall plug it onto this. I shall plug it into a suitable 12-volt power supply and I shall turn it on. Oh, actually not too bad. Not super bright, but okay. It's just a decorative thing. It doesn't draw much current. It's using indicator LEDs. So these days, with modern LEDs of this era, because this is about 20 years ago, with modern LEDs, it would be a lot brighter. Or you could just tame the current down. But it looks all right, you know, in the distance on a wall. It could look quite attractive. DC Allen says, ooh, camp. Yes, it is very camp. The nice thing is, it uses a standard downlighter frame that, you know, you could use it for the GU10 or MR16. It was just a little round circuit board. But I'd have to redesign it because I think I designed this way back when I was using DOS Board Maker. I'd have to redesign it from scratch again. I might put 3 LEDs in series and I might actually use discrete resistors in the back. I'm not really sure. The sill resistor array is quite handy. Yeah, I'd probably keep the sill resistor and adjust the number of LEDs to match. Mr. Eggcake has stood on a spike. That's good to know. Red and yellow LEDs it is. Well, it's red, orange and yellow. Red in the middle, orange and then yellow. I did some other ones. Hold on, I'm just going to see if I can grab the other ones. Peter S says, remember to set live chat. I should set live chat too, shouldn't I? So I see all the messages here. Use a dip, but I'm not sure because the space available wasn't really huge for that. Sill resistor may be hard to get. It's not that hard to get. It's very common on circuit boards. If anything, the parallel ones might be better. Now, Julian Eilert says, looks like 3 different shades of Pierce. Oh, Julian, so derogatory. But talking of shades of Pierce, I've got a demand here from the Treasury. Customs and Excise Division, Isle of Man, who say, importation charge note. A postal parcel addressed to you has been detained on importation pending payment of VAT and or customs and excise duties. The figures below show the charges required to be paid before the parcel is released. Upon payment, the parcel will be delivered to you by Isle of Man Post Office in the normal manner, and then it's demanding £50. That tells you how they've been calculated and where to go online to pay. But oddly, it's the LED bulbs that I ordered from China. It's the ones that may actually be puce. It's the flashing LEDs that I had no choice but to order. The only warm white ones, and I don't know what shade of warm white, probably puce. But the only warm white ones I could get were the slow flashing 0.5 hertz, which is quite nice. It should give it a very retro look. In diffused. Well, this is assuming I get what I ordered, but I had to order 5,000 of them and it was like £200. They've actually put it down as value declared €283. Okay. That's not helpful. But anyway, I shall tuck that there and I shall pay that later on such that I may get my LEDs and see what colour. And obviously when they arrive, you can see what colour they are because I don't know what colour they're going to be. Maybe we'll share the moment. Jonathan Hughes, the warm white are in nice. Does any of that slip through without charge at all? Yes. It's so annoying when one gets caught. The circuit boards, the last little pack of circuit boards I got, slithered through nicely, the one that is going to populate the LEDs, but keep in mind that 1,000 LEDs weighs a lot, so 5,000 LEDs is actually going to weigh 5 times more. It's going to be quite bulky, it's going to be quite a big box, and they probably said, oh, there's a big one, let's go and check and see, you know, let's do that one. Let's just do that one. Oh, it's the luck of the draw, isn't it? Our Kirker says usually they declare it's €2.83. Yes, they've screwed up. MJ says, hello, Clive, I'm here. Greetings, MJ. I presume that's not Michael Jackson. That's a lot of LEDs. Yes, it is NR. It's far too many LEDs. It's the only way I could get the warm white ones. Robin Evans says that a package for a declared amount was €999 because the shipper didn't know how much they were and put any old shit on. Had to reclaim the £130 tax difference afterwards from HMRC. A while ago, I ordered some ball blazer cartridges from America, from, I think, was it American Magazine? I think it was. Not sure. It could have been an online site. Not sure. It could have been. But they thought they were being helpful by declaring the insurance value really high for some inexplicable reason, because it was a retro old-fashioned cartridge. They only cost about $1 each at the time. I wanted them for the Poke Chips inside, which are used in some of the video games. But they quoted such a high fee that it actually cost about 5 times more than the actual cost of goods and shipping to get it released, and they wouldn't release it at all without me paying that. It was annoying. And then there was loads of red tape, and they didn't help. Mako says, Clive, were they pink LEDs? No, they're warm white. And I think they could be pink, they could be puce, they could be beige. Knowing what happens when I order LEDs from China, they probably will be beige. I think the last LEDs I ordered from the same supplier were the flickering candle, warm white. I was expecting golden candle-like white. No, they were beige, greeny beige. Ideal if your candles actually look green. Thank you, Kieran. A donation LEDs, why thank you. So once the LEDs are here, I shall build a panel up. I'll muster up the courage. They're probably black LEDs, John McFern, they probably are. And then I'll build one, because if they are, if they're diffused, which they're supposed to be, if they're warm white, if they're supposed to be, if they flash, which they're supposed to, and if it's 0.5 hertz, which is pretty much like on, off, on, off. That should look pretty good. That should look more like this old space age retro thing. More space age than that. I'm doing fine, thank you, Matthew Beddoe. Thank you. I love your Christmas LEDs. Thank you, Jeffrey. Licensed to drive for decades, I've heard the phrase red tape in regards to important documents, etc. But never seen any of the so-called tape that's red. Is it even red? I'm just going to research that right now. Let's do a search for red tape. There is actually red tape. And there's a website called Red Tape. It's an idiom referring to regulations or conformity to formal rules or standards. For other uses, see red tape disambiguation. American Civil War red tape. They did actually have red tape wrapped round it. It was bound round. Origins. It is generally believed that the term originated with the Spanish administration of Charles V, King of Spain and Holy Roman Emperor. In the early 16th century, who started to use red tape in an effort to modernise the administration that was running his vast empire. The red tape was used to bind the most important administrative dossiers that required immediate discussion by the Council of State and separate them from issues that were treated in an ordinary administrative way, which were bound with ordinary strings. So now they use red tape on everything. Now, what happened to the quantum dot LEDs? There was a company making mixed phosphor quantum dot LEDs, which they would use the quantum dots as alternative to phosphors. I don't know if they were doing much, but they made tangerine LEDs. Somebody mentioned those, and turquoise LEDs. Ultimate, I suppose, with Nichia or any of the manufacturers thinks of the biggest Chinese manufacturer, who I was talking to Dave at EEV blog during that podcast about. What was that? What was the name of the big Chinese manufacturer? Epistar. They'd have all the phosphors. Is it Woofle time? It is Woofle time. So I'm looking up here before I woofle. In the UK ad, blah, 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 code, paid to your address and customs may think tax or prepaid. Ooh, that could end up going wrong, probably. Oh, Grant Rennie is ranting. Customs keep holding my parcels there. The tax is prepaid already for 2 to 3 or 4 weeks before releasing them. That is, do you know, when I shipped stuff to America in the past, thanks Obscular. Hope red tape isn't fire retardant. We should set fire to red tape. We should ceremoniously get some red tape and set fire to it, but I don't have any red tape here. I was going to say there. I've forgotten what I was going to say there. Oh, yes. When I was shipping things to America, I discovered in the early days that if you put the proper value in the customs forms, it took weeks longer to get there because above a certain value, they put it into the customs mill in the USPS and then it would just be delayed. Whether they got charged customs or not, it would get delayed. So I ended up marking the value down purely so it actually got to the destination within a reasonable time. It was the difference between 2 weeks delivery and something like 2 months at times. Their customs was backed up solid. It was very unreliable. Cellulose nitrate red tape. We could nitrate red tape, Rifleman. I need the woofler. Let us, before we get the woofler, since the climate has got better, it's almost hot enough to actually put on Scruff Dog's shirt again. Scruff Dog's work shirt. It's warm here by my standards, probably not anybody else's. But it means that the butane is now at a whooshable level. I think I may need to top this up though. Hold on. Does it have much in it? Oh, it's got a wee bit in it. Maybe I'll just heat it up in my hand. I'll stick it in my pocket. That'll do it. That'll warm it up and bring it up to body temperature. In readiness for the next flames, I shall grab the woofler and add some woofle juice. How many of you actually built these things? I would suggest synchronized woofles, but you'd probably end up all around the world. There'd be fire engine noises after that. Ooh, moosey. Well, there's an improvement. Oh, right, okay, that's quite ferocious actually. I could make a little sort of lip here that would stop the foam actually just pouring over the edge. Maybe I should just not overdo it. Is it possible to overdo it? I don't think so. Let's just let it burn out and see what happens. Someone's asking, why does it burn on once? It burns really quickly, but then it burns down. It's the lack of oxygen getting in because as it needs the oxygen to burn, so because the heat's gone up and the oxygen has to try and work its way in down the edge, that's why it burns like that. Zach and the... Whoop. It's scrolled up. Zach and the J, I want to make one and do fire stunts like Steve-O. As long as they're done properly like Steve-O. So I'm looking back at Silver Fox Woven's thing. Bang a gee whiz. First thing I'm going to do is take it apart, replace the batteries and void warranties. A gee whiz. I'm going to just hold on. Am I going to regret this? Looking up for a gee whiz. A gee whiz. Oh, it's a bad dragon toy. No, I'm not kidding. The Revi, known as the gee whiz. Oh, it's a car. Oh, it's a microelectric car. Oh, that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. How much are they? Bangalore, India. Now, what was the little electric vehicle that people were buying off AliExpress or something like that? That was quite neat. Someone was featuring it recently and it was like really basic, but it kind of did the job. Didn't go very fast. There's £1,000 to £5,000. That's nothing, is it? That's pretty good. I bet it costs more to get it shipped to you. And what speed does it do? That's interesting. More and more over here in the Isle of Man. Because the Isle of Man is well suited. Oh, it's slow. All right, call a day. All right, okay. 50 miles per hour? That's not slow. It is in a, like, main road. It wouldn't do too well in the Isle of Man because there's lots of uphill bits. It would do great in the downhill bits. Lots of electric cars here. O'Curker says might as well buy a golf cart. It does sound like it might be that. But for dotting about, it might not be so bad. I think they wouldn't like it on the mountain road, though, probably, on the Isle of Man. Everybody wants to go at extremely high speed on the mountain road. Hempbeer says it does 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, but he's probably talking about amps. June at Islet says the G-Wiz has terrible brakes. Well, that sounds more exciting. Miss Wu has a little electric car, does she? The young monk? All right, okay. Oh, maybe I have to have a look at her channel and see if there's any sign of that electric car. G-Wizes are terrifying being atrocious damping. Well, that's like roller coasters. It's better, Stephen Wraith. It's just what you get used to. I will say that the Isle of Man, because it's well suited to electric vehicles, because it's a small island, so even if you're commuting, you're not going to be like, it's not going to be a London commute or an Edinburgh commute. It's quite small, and so there are electric vehicles everywhere. They are so quiet, creepily quiet. They don't even have the warning noise to actually avoid knocking people down because they removed that for some reason. It was against some regulation in the UK that they couldn't comply with, that you're not allowed to make warning noises or something like that, when other regulations say you must make warning noises. It's all very odd. But let's just knock down people too. So now let's grab a radium gin. I shall grab a radium gin. That is not something that I didn't. I'm just repositioning the little fuel canister onto a more intimate position, not in the underpants around like that. I'm just going to grab the tonic water. There is no tonic water. Oh, do I open the wine? It's a bad idea. I won't fizz it though. I tried getting a refill of the soda stream canister, but that did not happen. Oh, the wine is open. Do you know what? I get so many comments from angry people about my clickbait video where I redistilled a bottle of duty paid whiskey, and they're all saying, "You're not allowed to do that. You've broken the law." That I had to select the words that they were using and then just put a filter on it so I could veto them beforehand. Some got through, some are just deleted for being officious little wankers. There you go. That was honest. How close are you to the IOM bike course? Can I rent a room? Says Neil C. Vids. Room not available for rent, but I'm very close. Literally, the supermarket, to get to the supermarket where I bought this, I have to actually cross the TT course. But anyway, add some lemon to that, Clive. I don't think I've got lemon. I'm going to have to get a more appropriate glass. I'm going to go and get one of Ralphie's little whiskey glasses. The same one that was used in the video for drinking illicit spirits. TT course is not a course, it's just roads. It is roads and it's a course. Thank you, Ryan. Clive, tips in building 4x8 cob LED. What? Tips in mounting a 4x8 cob LED. I would say, whatever way you mount it, I wouldn't recommend driving it too hard. And also, thermal compound would be good, but the bigger plates can actually expand and contract. They can warp. So just allow something to actually, yeah, it's a tricky one. It might be worth even using thermal glue, but I'd just recommend not overrunning them. I've made some bad decisions when wearing my whiskey glasses. Are they really, Miles Bancroft? It's some of the best buying decisions on eBay are made. All the things you put in your basket but you didn't really want to buy. Then you just go and buy them at like 4 o'clock in the morning after a drink. It's wonderful. You could do what June did. of the Manx Beard Club. June really wanted, he'd swithered over getting a pair of trainers. He got very drunk. He bought them on Amazon and included a message to himself from Drunk June saying, "This is a surprise. I know you really wanted them." And then he did actually forget he'd ordered them until they arrived with the message from Drunk June. Stainless steel ice cubes, Jim McGrath. Yeah, I've seen those weird things. Or the rocks. You can buy the whiskey rocks that are just bits of stone you put in your freezer. I didn't forget to carbonate it, James. I'm not carbonating it because that will go straight to the head and then I'll say terrible things and then the stream will have to get taken down afterwards because I'll just say really bad things. Maybe I could carbonate part of it, but I'm largely out of carbon dioxide and they didn't have any in stock. Brian Wilson says, "Good day, so I guess you're in Australia." Last time I got pished, I recklessly bought a cheap oscilloscope. It has not arrived yet, so not sure if that was a good or terrible thing. You'll find out when it arrives, no one. Brian Wilson says, "Yep, Australia." Brian Wiggins says, "Fizzy fizz fizz, indeed." How does the carbonation have that effect, Tom Houston asks. I think the bubbles, like champagne, just sort of accelerate the pressure, maybe? Accelerates the alcohol into the bloodstream, but it always goes straight to the head really quickly. It's a way of boosting wine. Same alcohol content, faster action, if you want to do that. John Possum, when Clive gets pished, he reminds me of the little brother I never got to rough up. That sounds a bit weird. Oscilloscopes, people are saying I'd like an oscilloscope. The little basic, little LCD ones are not bad. They're quite pretty impressive little things at times, but not suitable for... what was the one I was looking at that I actually saw a review of it on David EEV blog? And of course, they pushed it like up to the limits of their specification, which is reasonable enough. But you know, fine, well, it's never going to get the limits. It's not going to be 100 megahertz. So he got it up there and it was just way all over the place. But for a low frequency operation, it's not that bad. Horavac says, "I think because of the carbonation, you don't notice the alcohol and drink more like you're used to with fizzy drinks. But it's the same quantity. I would say this. I won't be tiddly if I drink this bottle of wine. I mean, it's a lot of alcohol by my sort of standards. One bottle of wine is enough for me usually. I certainly wouldn't drink more than one bottle of wine. But, yeah. I've forgotten what I was saying there. Maybe it's the wine. Yeah, but I think the carbonation, I don't think it changed the quantity. Do you get pissed in beer? It's carbonated. Not really. Or do I? Maybe I do. I'm not really sure. I get jolly in the pub, so probably yes. I can meet June and Kevin at the pub again now that we're off lockdown. How is the sound? Let's do a wee sound test. Tell me if this improves the sound or doesn't improve it. I'll bring the microphone down a wee bit lower. So the microphone is down to the point... Oh, I'm going to bring it right into shot, haven't I, at some point? Is that improved or made the sound worse? You guys can tell me. The downside is I can actually stick the heat on the microphone now. I kind of had it up there to avoid it. Treble is better. Oh, it's better. Okay. Louder and better, slightly bassier. Hold on. Less booming. So Calday says slightly bassier, and right underneath Frank Zechert says less boomy now. All right, okay. Sounds fatter. Okay. This is the point I brought it down to for... I was doing the stream, the podcast with Dave at EEV blog, and it happened directly after the last stream, so I had a drink, but not an awful lot. It was the Patreon stream. It's just louder, much better, really, Julian. So this is so the height of it is just... Hold on. The height of it is, let me see, this is I'm going to have to wait for it to catch up because the image I see up there So a wee bit higher. It's about just an inch. It could come down a wee bit lower. Hold on. I'll pull it down a bit lower until it actually comes right into shot. And then I'll try not to actually stick the heat in it. Oh, there it is. It's visible now. Oh no, it's barely visible now. That's excellent. Julian Eilert says, ignore me. What? Hold on. I'm just going to scroll. But we'll see what happens. More husky EQ. Husky. Is it full of lust? It actually needs a pop filter on it. Why are people so fucking stupid when it comes to sound, Chris Roberts? Sound is quite important. Who was it? It was oh God, which other YouTuber was it recently? Oh God, I featured him in the past when his house burnt down. God, my name's just my memory is shit for names. It's always been. I used to forget my co-workers' names. I've been working with them like 5 years, and I used to forget their names. Give me the General Instruments AYSBO256 AL2 phonetic speech synthesizer chip. That's fine. William Osmond, that's the one. He did a great thing recently. He said, like the sound is quite important with the video because he says, and it comes over really good quality sound. He says you can have a really shit video and the video is all grainy and shit, but the sound is there. And he said, and it's great, but if you have a great video and then it's like really good quality video, and then it's all this distorted, but the sound is really bad, it's suddenly you're thinking, yeah, sound is more important. Even on YouTube, sound is important. For those of you wondering then, this audio setup is just a little tiny microphone plugged directly in with a tie wrap holding the little wind muffler, which used to keep dropping off. It's just basically plugged into a jack. A 4-pin jack, I think. No, it's a 3-pin jack. I think it is a 3-pin. Oh, no, it's 4-pin. It's a custom loom I've got here. I'll just retract. Retracting. And then I'll just lock that up there just by stuffing it into the foam. Very professional of me. I'd call that a fairy mic. Leave it there. It's perfect now. I'll keep it just out of sight though because I can always go up for extra power. But it's very handy because it's not like the YouTubers that have the big microphone basically in front of their mouth all the time. I just think that's not nice. I prefer, not to have something like that. I'm just going to go. Victoria Evelyn says, it just goes to show you don't need a super big mic. If you open one of those microphones, it's one of those little inserts on the side. They're tiny. I mean, most of them. Let me just... That microphone up there is a DIY mic. It's got a little insert in it like this, just directly into the jack plug itself, and that is it. But the microphone I use is a better quality one. The gain is a big factor. A lot of these sound very quiet. Some of them aren't so great, the cheapy eBay ones. But if you get a decent quality microphone, I can't remember the number of it, but there is a specific microphone that is really good. And it's just this tiny, tiny little capsule, but that's all this sound comes from that tiny little capsule. It doesn't matter that it's a huge microphone or a small microphone. Why not stereo pair 2 mics? Because I don't have stereo because this is being broadcast from a phone and it's just got one microphone. With that really weird thing that... hold on. I'll come back to that. No, I'll go straight back to it because now I've forgotten what I was saying. I got distracted again. I'll remember what that was later. Skywest says, we should toast the guy who made electronic vape so accessible. Honlick is his name, I think. The person who... I'm going to sneeze. I know I'm not going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. It's on the borderline. I'll look at a light and see if that makes me sneeze. No, it's not made me sneeze. Right, okay. It's going now. The first electronic cigarettes, the electronic cigar, was ultrasonic, and ultrasonic atomizer, and it was a Ryan. Now, it was a Japanese Ryan one, and it was originally pushed into the casinos so that the gamblers, they could get the high value gamblers, were given gifts of electronic cigarettes as a novelty, mainly so they didn't go outside and leave the tables just for a smoke, so they could actually sit at the casino table and keep gambling and smoke their electronic cigar. Hempbear, Mike on the ceiling catch the famous Manx farting spiders better. I could actually have it on a sort of bungee so I can pull it down and get maximum volume. Maybe I'll just put a fart microphone in. Bunny Love says, hi buddy, got my PCBs in the way, I'll be able to build my flashing board. Did you go for the big ones or the small ones? The big one is the best, to be honest, but the small one still looks good and is so much easier to build. That's quite a task, building one of these boards. Custom butt plug then, that wouldn't actually catch the fart. That would actually keep it in. No bogeys on the camera. What? Oh right, okay, if I sneeze. Yeah, I'll try and avoid that. In Las Vegas, smoking is still allowed in casinos. Well, of course it would, Kevin Morris, because ka-ching. Money. You should try pressure zone microphone now. Is that the boundary zone microphone you're talking about there? I did consider that. I did try this microphone actually in different mounting positions. I tried different custom microphones, including a sort of boundary microphone type device. It didn't really work in this area. It's not an ideal area to record in. It's just where it happened to be. It's not like a studio. In a way, it is a studio, but not a studio. It's my personal little studio. PZM 600 starting, Jonathan Hughes. I'm not sure if that's the model. Chris Roberts says, I'm an electronics engineer for the audio industry. Interesting stuff. How are you feeling about digital amplifiers? We could use a voice changer microphone. Well, I could make it squeakier. That's one of the things, talking about squeaky, we're discussing that. And Dave, in the podcast that's coming up, and Dave said, you've got the radio voice, I've got the squeaky voice, and I pointed out, well, the squeaky voice is actually better for YouTube because my voice is so boomy that small speakers in many of the phones just won't actually play at a loud volume. That, like, you can turn the volume up full and it's swamped and it brings it back down. It adjust the volume down, it just sounds muffled. With Dave's, because his voice is in a sort of middle frequency range, it's fine for those speakers, it's more compatible. Microdoser, why does everyone rave about Class D amplifiers these days? I thought they were really low quality. They kind of were, but there's a lot of status around the different, and masturbatory stuff going on around amplifiers, particularly the ones that sit in the corner with tubes or valves in them just baking red hot, and they leave them on 24/7 because you can't turn it down off, because otherwise for the tubes to stabilize it would have to be turned on hours before you needed it. Class D digital amplifiers can be crap, but if with the correct filters with a decent design, they're super efficient. When there's no audio, there's virtually no current consumption. The standby current's really low. It's digital switching, on, off, no intermediate, no operating the linear region of the MOSFETs. So they're super efficient. You can run them at high power. So one tiny little circuit board the size of a packet of cigarettes can blast hundreds of watts of power out. And that kind of upsets the old amplifier lovers. They kind of like their amplifiers. Redhead Forster says people prefer the boomy voice though. Well, the snag is the boomy voice is good. I like the BBC-ish voice, but the downside of that is it does it gets a wider audience. It's only suitable for some platforms. Zach in the J says I love my vintage stereo, as do many people. Class D is great for transients though. Max G says. One of the nice things, Class D is cheap. And some of the amplifiers available on eBay, I'm just looking for Class D amplifier. This'll do. It's not the best, but this'll do. Some amplifiers with decent circuitry, look at the capacitor alignment and that. That's absolutely terrible, isn't it? It's just been banged together. Everything's squinting it. But you get ones that are made decent, you know, and a small one like this is rated hundreds of watts. I'm pretty sure this is rated 200 watts. You just need a powerful enough power supply because it's all integrated into just a few chips. It's just been so streamlined because of the way it works. IC station, I'm not really sure. Audiophiles, I'm stealing that one. Oh, God, there's so many areas. XXXXX says, greetings from Poland, Clive. Greetings back to Poland. Needs more valves, it does. I might put a plastic valve on it with an orange LED under it. Is that good? I don't get that. They put a blue LED under the fake valves, and there were valves that glowed blue. The mercury rectifier valves, I think, glowed blue, but it's not convincing. Mako says, Matt, but the women's voices always annoy me earlier when on TV as they're so loud and sharp. You want to hear the BBC radio women's voices in the past on the old valve radios, the tube radios. They chose the women for the bassness of their voice, and it's like, honestly, it would sound like me talking now, but it's a woman. It was just bizarre, these women with super thunderous bassy, obey your BBC masters type voices. Yeliab814 says, shit canning Class D is like shit canning VFDs. It's evolved a lot. Yeah, it has. It's like it's come on a long way. Audiophile reminds me of video. Video is a jovial, a friendly term for the guys on that do the video on events. We don't call the sound guys audiophiles. We could. I think we should put valves under LEDs. We could. Integrate the two. Women can speak faster, more accurately, probably. Rifleman, women definitely have the edge in many aspects. I'm scrolling up and down here. Human Seagull says that the chipmunk, I thought blue valves were actually gassy ones feeling. I suppose if the pressure changes inside, they will go blue. But I thought they also had the mercury rectifier, not the big, like, huge mercury rectifiers, but mercury rectifying tubes. Not really sure. Oh, Rob Morley is just got you stream in the background while programming a Tina Turner show, getting back to normal slowly. The events industry is starting to get back. It's starting to get back into the swing. It's going to take off. This is all going to end quite abruptly. Brad's Guitar Garage says, I deal with valves quite a bit, as there's still the problem with guitar amp technology. I bet you get people bringing in their old valve amplifiers where they've got defective capacitors and input and no isolation, and those horrible old amplifiers that had the two-pole connector, and you had to put it right way around, or the whole valve, everything became live. You see that a lot. There's videos on YouTube showing the performers that have guitar, and they've got their hand on the guitar strings, they grab the microphone, then you just hear the 50 or 60 hertz going through them, because one of them was grounded and one of them was live. I've seen deliberately overdriven valves pumping out hard x-rays, says Grant Rennie. That's not good. Oh, Miles Bancroft says it's Jaeger time. Jaeger time. Oh, who are we going to celebrate? I shall put this amplifier out the way. We were discussing who we could celebrate. Jan Mulder's president of Bad Dragon. We could. Let's drink a toast to Bad Dragon in general. Just because nobody else is probably doing it. To Bad Dragon. will mix rocket scientists in with people who make massive sex toys that probably result in many visits to emergency departments in hospitals. I'm guessing, not really sure. Maybe some hospitals have a special bad dragon division. The shunt regulation TV tube are X-ray emitters, rifleman. In TVs in general, if you actually set them incorrectly, they can emit quite a significant X-rays. Mike Cracker's about time, maybe a bit higher. No, Nikolai, that's this where somewhere along the communication stream it could be between the phone to the router, and it's 4G because it's the only way I could get enough speed. The way to find that out is now that we're off lockdown again here, I can look at getting the fibre optic in, because it turns out there's a node nearby because my neighbour already has fibre optic, I've just found out. So that's interesting. Jan Robert Nergard, did I miss the earshot? Yes, we did it to Bad Dragon. What is the big hammer, says Sarah Coburn. That is a gift from Ave. Arduino versus Evil. It's a big copper hammer and it weighs a ton. Ave must have actually started posting these out and then realised that you do not post things this way internationally, particularly when they've got a big custom wooden box with them. It was a heavy package. I'm surprised that customs didn't jump on me for this and say, what value is it? Though it would have been marked as a gift, and it was a real gift. It's a copper hammer for smashing things, fundamentally, that Ave made with CNC milling. You can actually see the pattern that it's followed on the mill. And then he textured the wood and everything with it, and then dipped it in a gooey stuff, which is formed a plasticky coating. Very plasticky, quite hard. I think that was an oil he treated it with. This will appear in a video when I find something suitable to adjust with it. Maybe I'll need it for this. I was going to actually take this apart today, but because Ralph turned up and I was a bit sleepy because I didn't get much sleep, I didn't, so I'll have to take this apart later on. This big lamp. It's rated about 15 watts, but then they also do small ones rated at 15 watts. I took one apart in the impromptu live stream yesterday, and the circuitry, well, I took the smaller one apart. I thought it was just going to be the little linear regulator, and it was just covered in LEDs with circuitry underneath, under a metal cap, so it's going to be more destructive. I hope this one's different. Deep down I want to open it right now, but I'm going to save it for a video. That's the best thing. Have I warmed the... Oliver Doss says, yes, take that bulb apart. I use those. It's from B&Q. This is warmed up now. This is warmed up. Do you think it's going to be more spicy? Let's find out. Maybe it's going to be overzealous. This wick is not working very well now. Hold on, I'll just tip that wax out the way. I shall just tip the wax out here. Oh, I've tipped the whole candle out. Right, okay. Let's try that again. I shall aim that up a bit. And I shall have another go at lighting this. Is it going to be better? Well, that's a bit disappointing. What the heck? Right, okay, so I'm not sure. This is feeling quite warm. Oh, hold on. I'll just set fire to this, will I? It's malfunctioning. Oh, that's better. That's better. That's better. Hold on. We're almost there. Talking of Human Seagull and others, now, before they do another lockdown, we'll try and let things get established again. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's working now. Yeah, that's better. The initial whoomp was pretty good. But then it instantly self-cools due to evaporation of the gas. So we'll have to try and do a Manx meetup before they lock it down again. Now, I was going to look and see if I've got any more of these. I'm just going to do that right now. See what other ones I've got. I'm sure I had. I might not find them. Just give me a second. Ah, I found another. It's just a red one, but I think it's low efficiency red. It has the same connector in the back, so I reckon I should be able to just plug it in. And plug it in here and turn it on. Yeah. Oh, it's the deep red. Yeah, it's the 660 nanometer red, the super deep one. You're not necessarily going to see that. Yeah, you're going to see that deep sort of magenta red it is. That's deep. It's very bright as well. You're not going to really see it as it's true, but this is on a distant wall. It would look like that as a marker dot. Not that bad actually. It's bright. Oh, I can feel the healing red light. I should stick it up my nose like that device you get, which you stick up your nose and it cures things. Helps with hay fever, apparently, sticking red LEDs up your nose. That's apparently the theory behind it. Oh, there's something. Someone recently asked me about cherry red, Julian. Yeah, cherry is a good description. That old 660 nanometer. Remember the ones that used to say super high intensity, but what they actually meant was not as high intensity as the 650 or 635 nanometer ones, but much higher, but they were actually brighter output, but it was actually in the less sensitive area of the human eye. It was just cheating the figures. The LED industry is notorious for cheating figures. How many red LEDs up the nose? You'd stuff as many as you can get up there, or you do high power ones. But it's fast flow, it's quack. You know, it's just, you can buy a gadget that you basically stick them up your nose and you push the button and it lights red LEDs for X amount of time, and that's a treatment. It's a load of shit. It's just... Now, what about this? Some of you have come across a damp-proof course that is electroosmotic. And you put platinum electrodes into the wall and it passes a current to ground, and theoretically it drives the moisture down out the wall. I'm not so sure whether this works. They do use electroosmotic drying for construction. But now there's a company producing magnetic pulsar that you wire it into the local light fitting from the ceiling rose, and it's a big, looks like a biscuit tin with 2 circuit boards inside it, and it sends magnetic pulses out and it drives all the moisture out of your house. I'm not convinced. That looks like an expensive scam. Could be wrong. Fingers work as well. They do wet wear air. But what happens when people buy these things and then their house does get damp and like all the water creeps up and things like that? That's effectively by selling them something that was ineffective, you've actually caused a lot more damage. I wonder if this is going to come back and affect them. It does sound pretty woo, human seagull. But, unfortunately, it's one of those things that until you can't deny it, until you've proven it yourself, and it's like the water softeners that have a bit of wire wrapped around your pipe. June and Islet, that might be how they work. They might burst into flames and drive the damp out your house by burning it down to the ground. That is true. And Nick Norton came up with the same conclusion there. Maybe slime fungi living in the sinuses doesn't like certain wavelengths. It could be. But the red LED stuff has been around for a long time, and they claimed that it was NASA-backed technology because NASA did some research onto it. I'm not really sure. But the 660 nanometer light, if I get that right, I think it's 660 nanometer. The reason that they were all 660 nanometer is because those were the highest output LEDs available at the time. But that's, it's hard getting those now. And it's notable that now it's hard to get those wavelengths, and it's easier to get 650 and 635, which is a more orangey red. They've all gone, actually, the new wavelength is the orangey red because they're easier to get and cheaper. And we want lots of money. Putting the NASA in nasal. The NASA claim is always a dead giveaway of snake oil. NASA has some odd stuff associated with it, tinkering shed. That was Ian Cooper saying putting the NASA in nasal. Peter S. has converted the wavelength to a frequency. 454. Oh, hold on. 454,094.76181818 megahertz. Is that not a harmful wavelength that 5G be death beams and things like that? That's near infrared. It is, James Howe or Hoch. That is near the infrared. It's the last wavelength of red before it starts going to the infrared region as the near infrared. They give off the visible glow. But it's also, LEDs were more efficient. That's why you can get the super high power infrared LEDs. They just get more and more efficient in that end of the spectrum, except for the gallium nitride new technology, which really concentrates the other end of the spectrum. VHS Bit says, deep red LEDs are great. I got a load of old HP ones. It's a nice colour. Peter S says 5G makes good cookies. That's useful to know. Do you know, I've got an analogy to when people ask me about the 5G units being mounted in all the streetlights. I say, imagine, and how it's directed energy beams. I say, imagine an LED flashlight on a streetlight, and you can actually see it, and it's going to be brighter if it points at you. That's how the 5G works. It actually aims the radio signal using, what's the word for it? Phase array antennas. That by using a matrix of antennas, they can actually aim it. That little beam of effectively, it's the same spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum light. They can shine a little sort of searchlight at you of the communication for your phone. And it just means they can actually then use, instead of just beaming energy out in all directions to everybody, they can just zone it into different areas. Beamforming, Graham Shaw has got the correct thing here. Mark Pascal, I've not considered a marathon live stream for 24 hours. Sometimes I've almost done it. Peter S. Phased array antenna. NR does point out that phase array sounds close to phaser. That is true. I'm beginning to wonder now. Is the reason of the whole reason for anti-5Gers who are quite strangely quiet at the moment, it's probably because their iPhones have 5G now, so it's okay. And they're Huawei? No, it's not Huawei. Oh, I've forgotten the name again. Is it Huawei? The telecommunications company. It's not Huawei. Might be Huawei. Oh, it's hard keeping up with these names. But it is Huawei. They've announced that they're developing 6G now, so they're all going to get up in arms. So that's going to be like the latest death beam. Huawei, they're the ones that put all the spy software in your telecommunications system. They can shut all the countries down before China bombs the world. That's correct. That is exactly what they're planning to do. Robert Wood says, best thing about working nights is getting paid to watch. Worst thing is having to take breaks during the stream. Oh, are you on standby? So you actually have to go out and fix stuff. Evolution says, Huawei. Yeah, that's probably the correct way to pronounce it. Like Xiaomi and things like that. Xiaomi or... Yeah, I'll get it wrong. Shenzhen, that'll do. Naomi Wu, I can pronounce all those things. One day I want Naomi Wu to show me all the best places for buying technical junk in China. Or Scott of Strange Parts. He's been very quiet because of the whole COVID thing. I was hoping he might do more, just little casual, like me, a live stream or something like that, just for chat. He's strangely shy. Oh, does he do live streams on Twitch? I did not know that. Oh, right, okay. Why did you... Oh, right, okay. I don't use Twitch. I didn't know he did live streams on Twitch. I thought his little blogs were pretty good. Alistair Boy, he's back in the US now. I think he's been in the US for a while, has he not? Last thing he had on YouTube was getting the nasal swab getting stuffed up. I'll have to look that up. He's got a Stranger Parts channel. All right, I'll have to look at that. Kate Ebert says, working third shift, been missing this. Staying up way late today. Oh no. What do you do, Kay? Call Day. He lives in an Indian reservation, I believe. I think he does. I wonder why. Oh, there's Joe at HVACR North. My wife is not impressed with Naomi Wu, Miles Bancroft. I think you'll find that's lady jealousy. Julian Alec, we know you've got stranger parts. You're just generally strange altogether. Who are we talking about? Everybody. Scotty at Strange Parts. She's not safe for work or not safe for wife now, it says. Do you know, I loved Naomi Wu's 360-degree videos. I mentioned this before. Because while Ebdi also be probably staring at her boobies as she's walking along, it was really interesting just looking. It was great being able to look around as someone walks through a Chinese street, you know, an industrial Chinese street. It was really good, just not just looking around, but looking up at the buildings as well. Fascinating. It was really nice. Naomi Wu's vids are like adverts. They are, Lost Johnny. There is that sort of thing that, you know, she's just a front for promotions, but I don't care because I think Naomi's perfectly technically capable of. She's not like just acting. She is technically capable, so it's fine by me. Some people do that. Some people are weird about silicon. I'm weird about silicon. The biggest concern about silicon is if it leaks inside the body, Peter S. That's not a good thing. Robert Wood, Naomi does have an interesting sense of fashion. It's because she is an Uber fan. In case, for those of you who don't know that she's in the same boat as me, I have the bear flag. You'll see that Naomi in the background has the rainbow flag. She is, I believe, a lesbian, but in the sense that she loves the female image. That's like, that's what means a lot to her. So that's how she styles herself. With great results. It's very amusing. Particularly when she's got the cameras out, the 360 camera, and you see people's reactions, particularly Chinese women looking at her and like they're just at rage in their face. And the men going, or whatever they do in China, something like that. Probably, no, I'm not going to say that. SW Nurse says, I love the female image too. MJ says she is very attractive in her own sort of niche way. I spotted the Dutch flag on the wall, Mako. The Dutch flag? I don't even know what the Dutch flag looks like. Hold on. I'm going to do a search for Dutch flag. A bear tag. A bear flag hands. Manly man. Hold on. Dutch flag. Oh, it's a sexual reference, apparently. Holland, it's like red, white, and blue. I suppose really that's kind of like there's red, white, and blue in that. I'm not saying red, white, and blue. Okay. Not sure. The flag of the Netherlands, it's not an exciting flag. It is uninventive. Oh, Naomi Wu did have a silicon implant leak. Oh, that's not so good. John McFern. Her girlfriend looks like a guy, says China North Airguns. This is common. This is really common. I wonder if it's acid curing that would be really quite unpleasant. Shake that beard. Oh, you're talking about this thing. This isn't the Dutch flag. It's close to is it the German flag? I'm just going to check something. German flag. It's not quite the German flag either. Over the left shoulder for the flag in potato vision. What? Are we talking like, oh, I get it. Potato vision, so you're not getting the full resolution. I gotcha. It's underneath the green logo, the yellow logo. Maybe the colouring. Actually, it is green. Yeah, it is very green. Bear guy has a beard flag. Interesting indeed. Dutchy means the bear flag. All right, okay. Okurka. HVACR North is going, what? That makes a difference from woo, yeah, like he normally does. When you part the bear, it looks like hairy cowboy chaps. What, Mr. Pugh? That doesn't make sense. Maybe I'll drink more wine, then it might. Yeah, my brain is pickled now. It's wine, Chris. Clive, your beard is the flag of Yemen, Matambali. Hold on. I'm just going to type Yemen flag. Oh, or it's kind of that, but that's kind of red, white, and black. Yeah, I suppose in a way it's kind of similar to that. How long is it going to take before this actually wears off and it's just back to the grey again? This is original black dye after about 2 or 3 attempts at removing it, which is not happening. So it'll gradually just grow out. So I'm guessing here, Clive needs to upgrade to 4K. That might happen. That might happen if I get the fibre in. I keep saying I'm going to get the fibre in. Yes. Technician99M says Austrian flag. I get the need to actually type in Austrian flag. No, that's red, white, and red. That's looks like polarity indicator. Yeah, Victoria, it's a bad idea. It always is a bad idea, white wine. Do you have a picture of you clean shaven? Mr. Eggcake, there is a picture of me on the internet with just a moustache, including a droopy moustache at one point, but no beard. The beard arrived late on. It was bum fluff for most of my life until it suddenly took off. It can be used as a paintbrush, Bezadeh. But it can be used once as a paintbrush, or unless you use good solvent. Little Miss New Hudson, have you ever worked on any valve radios or valve televisions? Not really, but some of the electrical equipment used to have valves in it as light sensors. Oh, if you get the fibre in, you might want 8K. That's just greed, John McFarren. That's the point at which I'll be struggling. I'll have my wee magnifying glass out and I'll be saying, oh, I can't read this. And you'll be like 1 inch or 25 millimeter high digits, and your screen will be like, why can't he read it? Because I'm blind. That's how it is. It's already like that with the 1080p. You guys can actually read things off your screen better than I can. It's embarrassing. I look I've got my magnifying glass out. I review the video footage afterwards to make sure I didn't make any real major mistakes, but then put it out anyway. And I'm looking at it and think, oh, that's embarrassing, because now I can just read the number straight off the screen because it's really big. Oh, I know what you're saying. Saying it forever, I know. The telecommunication companies here are... I tried several times to get fibre in, and they said, don't call us, we'll call you, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just end up having to change provider. John Paul says, my ears are gone, so I blast the TV up to max. Your neighbours must be delighted. It's 720p at the moment because it's live streaming. Jimmy60 is back. He said he's had a great shit. Wow, I needed that. I'm glad you had a great shit. Just run the cable yourself, Ravu Alhemio. It's actually splicing in. It's probably quite specialist. It's the ones where they have multiple tails go into one fibre. Then I can steal some of my neighbour's bandwidth because the more people splice into the one fibre, the lower the sort of like the throughput of data. Chapel Chicks points out you can get wireless earphones to your TV. Some are pretty good actually. What constitutes a bad shit? Well, Kevin Rayner, have you ever done one of those ones that it's so compacted that you can actually feel your ass splitting as it comes out and then it bleeds afterwards? That would probably constitute one of the worst ones, probably. Or the other one that would constitute a bad shit is the one that comes out in like full public view while you're walking along the road in light coloured shorts. That's probably the bad ones. The wine is a bad idea. It always gets a bit loose. Do you think DLP mini video projectors are good? They produce a great image, the DLP video projectors. We remove it in the Queen's box, indeed. That was with light shorts. Awkward. Carbonate it? No, because that just amplifies the effect. It has gone straight to the head. It's what is it with wine? It will make me feel terrible later on. Phil in the kitchen pushes a bowl of oxtail soup to one side. Yes, indeed. Any experience of fibre connections? Belgian Muscle asks. Only low data speed, just the polymer fibres, not the more sophisticated ones. I have run pre-terminated fibre optic cables in, but not terminated them much. Not super high data throughput ones. They always tend to get somebody special in to do it, or they did in the past. It's probably less critical these days. Maybe we should try and get Starlink, to be honest. The standby power of Starlink's a bit concerning. Sindad, was that? Sindal, okay. Sindad. No, I'm not going to say that. Wine is like, yeah. Stickamo, Clive Demo's coffee machine raw box, indeed. As long as the Queen didn't sit in it afterwards, it's fine. She's not really attended much, but then she's quite old. 100 watts standby power Starlink dish, so you have to add another £100 a year onto your bill. And also it's got motorised bits in it. And also we have shit weather, which would be violent weather here. So who knows? Starlink is in the UK. You know, Starlink is an option. We'll see if I really have to push and try and get a complete package that covers everything from my current provider. And if that fails, I'll go to Manx Telecom. John McFerrin says, I personally spliced fibre optic cable the hard way, mechanical. It was in a training course. That's when you get the little ceramic blades and things like that. When fibre optic first appeared, I'm going to sneeze again. When fibre optic first appeared, people who were installing it were like, they'd build little tents over the specialist equipment, and if you went over and said, oh, what are you doing? They'd go, oh, you can't see it because it's very special, it's secret. I've done a course. Ooh, me. But nowadays, of course, it's all automated. You cut the fibres, you put them in, and the machine self-aligns them, and then it just fuses them together. I did give you all corona. It's okay, it's not corona. The Russia sneeze. What? I'm lost. It's the wine, probably. I could. Hold on, I'll just sterilise my nose with ultraviolet. Right, okay, yeah, it's I'll get it from all the angles, right, okay, yeah, I can feel the nose hairs burning now, that's fine. I would push the end up completely, but it's not a good idea. Grant Rennie says the fibre splice machines are quite expensive. They are, but that's because they're fairly specialist. But the fibre optic testers, oh, woofle time, it is woofle time. Let's have a whiffle. I just thought you could actually build it into things like you could have it in the ceiling. Not probably not a good idea, and make little mushroom flames come out the ceiling. It would probably set the ceiling on fire and stuff like that. Oh, that's quite nice. And whiffle. Oh yes, nice. Little atomic mushrooms. The foam is so good for that. Automatic woofler add-on for the house, Victoria. The snag is it would have to beep before it went off, because otherwise you'd be beep beep. Oh no, and it's above you. Next thing you know, whoomph. Bariana Stander says I overnapped. It's okay. There's still plenty of time in the stream. The stream is only about halfway through, so it's fine. The early fibre optic cables were so fragile and a pain in the arse to install. They were, James Murgerson. They were actually just super thin glass. Did the flames polish the plastic whiffler? You could use it to polish fibre optics. Adapt a smoke alarm for the beep. You could build it into the smoke detector, Steve, and then it would actually warn you afterwards as well. Whiffle in Canada. I've seen that. Whiffle is a sort of game. I'm going to look for a fibre optic thingy. I may find it or may not. I found it. It has no batteries. It takes double A's, I think. Yes, one moment, please. Will it work with rechargeables? Yes, it will. Okay. So, this is a 660 nanometer. It's the one that you stick up the end of the fibre optic. I'm not going to shoot myself in the eye with this. And you can either put it to the flashing mode, that it will basically fire so you can actually find the fibre because it's flash on and off, or it saves energy. Or you can put it to continuous mode and it'll actually just fire the laser beam up the end of the fibre optic. And these things are cheap as shit on eBay now, the fibre optic testers, because they're just so common now. I'm trying to think what I've got that I could actually, I've just thought of something I could try that with, but I don't know how bright it would be because this is the sort of the deep red. Brendan Perks said, fish and chips at Withering Sea today. Okay. Little Miss New Hudson says, I love how everything used to be insulated with wax, pitch and varnish. Vintage electrics are fun to work on, and the smell is very distinctive. The feel and the weight and the smell. And some of the stuff's quite sticky as well. That's not so great. I'm just going to see if I can find something. I found something. Oh, I know what that's for. A modern day fibre optic bundle illuminator. What colour is this one? But this is not laser, this is LED. Can I just stuff this up the end of this connector here? Probably. It's probably a bad idea. I'll do it anyway. It's a lithium power bank, so it's not like it's going to burst into flames. Oh, it might. Oh, yes, it is 12 volt actually. That's all right. Let's stuff a wire in there and one there. Have I got anything? I did not see any light come out of that. Okay, that's not impressive. I'm not seeing any light. Okay, maybe I've got this wrong then. It should have a regulator built in. Hold on, I shall unscrew the end of it. It's I like these little machine components. Oh, it's got a big, basically a big fat LED in the end with a lens in front of it. Why did that not light? Hold on, I shall improvise. What can I do here with this? I shall improvise something. Oh, look, I already had one of those. Oh no, it wasn't. That's I'm talking shit. Just ignore me. Oh, you are. I'll use one of these little adapters that one buys from China for cheap. Oh, actually, you know what? Is that going to be a 5 volt? That is going to be a 5 volt supply. I probably just stuffed that into 12 volts. Hold on. That's probably not a good thing. It may be dead now. This would not surprise me. What's the output of this? Push on. Is this 5 volt output? I'm sure that's 12 volts. Probably got a regulator built in. I'm going to have another go. What's the worst could happen? I'm regretting this now. What can I use to do this? I know. I'm pretty sure this takes 12 volts. I can unplug that. I can plug this in. And this will be 12 volts. Shall hang that up there completely and instantly forget about that. Is this going to work? Oh yeah, there we go. It turns out that it's ice blue. It's an ice blue emitter. That's quite bright, isn't it? That is pretty intense indeed. Maybe it is 5 volt and that's why it's intense. Oh yeah, that's it is glary white. That's it. I'm not getting a good connection here because I'm doing it very amateurishly. Yeah, anyway. But this is a side glow fibre optic. It's the stuff that is designed for you basically slot it into vehicles, and it's got this little fin that you can either nail it or staple it into things, and it produces a side glow effect. Let me just slice this. So theoretically, all I need to do is stuff it up the end, tighten that screw loosely with my fingers, and it should glow part of the way, like these shit side glow fibre optics do. Side glow fibre optic. Right, I'm going to stuff that down the end professionally. Oh. I'm not seeing. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's shit. Yes, that is as shit as I was expecting it. Probably it would look great in the dark, but it's that side glow fibre optic. You can see the beginning of it glows, but then it gets dimmer as it goes further. Do you want me to turn the light off so you can see this? Or do you want me to stuff at the end, up the end of the laser tester? I shall see if it fits up the end of the fibre optic tester. No, it doesn't, but I'll do it anyway. Oh. I'll try not to shoot myself in the eye with it. Oh yeah, that is rubbish, yes. I'll turn the light off. See, side glow fibre optic, it's pish, isn't it? It's always been pish. From day one it was presented as an alternative to neon. It's absolutely rubbish. I'll turn this light up here off. Yeah, that's rubbish. You can kind of get the glow along the full length, but it's not great, is it? It's not great. I mean, it looks better on camera than it does in real life. It's crap. Hold on. I'll try it in the official emitter. I've just dropped a little tank of gas. I had stuff down the belt here to try and heat it up and get that in a sort of evaporative state. Where is the thing? There's the laser. Not the laser, the LED. The LED source. This is sold for vehicles. Do you remember the video I made about the baseball cap that lit up, and it had the turn the laser off here, and it had the sort of battery pack and the LEDs in the end, and it had this side glow stuff in the skip. This is the stuff. Let's see if I can power this up, and we'll see if this glows bright, icy blue. That's quite nice. Where's the blue light coming from? It's all from that. That is bouncing off there and reflecting back onto me. That's pretty bright, isn't it? Right, so I'm going to stuff this up the end here. and put this here, and this will intermittently flash. Stuffing wires up the end. Yeah, see, you can see how it starts off bright, but then it fades. And it looks visually bright at the start of this, but it does tail off. Hold on, I'm just going to unwrap it. It's wrapped with something that resembles saran wrap or cling film. I shall unwrap it to show you just how crap it is. But I suppose if you're into your car lighting, that's probably okay-ish. This is almost as bad, actually worse than the electroluminescent. I'll drape it over like this, right? And then I'll power this up. Oh yeah, see, that is crap. I'm not getting a good connection here. See how fast it tails off? How absolute junk. The only reason this is glowing is because it's catching light from that thing in the back. This is pish. Visually, it's only bright for about the first couple of feet, 600 millimeters, and then it tails off. That's rubbish. It's worse than the electroluminescent stuff. Watch your eyes and bring the light back. Yeah, I've still to make a video about that. It's not going to be a very exciting video, is it? It's going to be pish. Utter pish, zapped Sparky. Pish and tush, says Aged Fool. That's it. But that's Siglo fibre optic. I remember the first time I saw it was in Florida, attempting to emulate neon. And it just looked, they had a light source at both ends and it was terrible. LEDs, you'd have to put LEDs at both ends of it. Bob S. That is, hold on. Bungo the Bear says, burn it. Who else suggested scent and fart to it? I'm not sure. Jimbo says, see if it burns. It might burn. Is this a good idea? Hold on. I shall test it for flammability. It is not self-extinguishing, the fibre optic. I wonder, is it creating much light? Hold on, I'll just put it in the dark here. Oh no, it's just gone out. No, it wasn't actually even illuminating itself when you set fire to it. I think that's the most light you could get from the full length. It stinks now. Is if you actually set fire to it. I'm going to, when next time I find this, to look at it, I'm going to think, what the fuck? And in fact, I'll make the video and say, this is how it came from China, because I'll completely forget the fact that I drank wine and then set fire to it. This is what happens. On a plus note, this little LED source in its aluminium housing isn't too bad. It's quite neat. Can we get it out further? Oh, it's kind of like resined in. Oh, it is resined in. It's multiple chips. It's about 3 chips in there, I think, just to provide, and probably a resistor, and that's it. And then it's got a little collimating lens in the front of it. Do vape with the laser. Oh, right, okay. Which, with the red laser, I could do that with the red laser. The green laser would be much more impressive. I shall put this back in its crinkly, this came from China, plastic bag. With its car adapter with sexy on-off button in the back. Ooh. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not going to be champing at the bit to make that video. That's pish. Hold on, I shall put this power supply through. I shall plug this back into this is the power supply that I'm currently using to power my Tupperware illuminator. It is a real it's a ideal power. It's from CPC, so it should be electrically compliant. Thank you, Brian. Much appreciated. Hi from Portsmouth. Have yourself a pint. I shall have a pint. In due course when I meet the posse. So I've got my laser here. Let's put it on to glint. Right. I shall place it down here, pointing pretty much up at the microphone. And then I shall turn the light off. And I shall vape all over the laser. The laser is here, I feel like Jean-Michel Jarre, but with his electronic laser heart, but it's only got one note. It's like, be, be. Oh. I think I'm needing more turbulence here. The fog is not, yeah, this is rubbish. It is that low output red. It's just not that exciting. I shall point it at, there, that's better, isn't it? It's quite a wide beam. You know what? Look at the pattern it's projecting. It's projecting quite a distinct pattern. That's quite neat. It's not really what I'd call super collimated. And I can see a little glitching in the actual output as well. The actual pattern of the beam that's coming out at complex. I shall turn that off. I shall bring the light back. Watch your eyes. And then I shall pour another glass of wine. But this is nice because it's got a little cap that swings over and protects it. Amazing you can get stuff like this for buttons in relative terms to what laser stuff used to cost on the internet and elsewhere. It used to be so expensive. Oh no, I forgot this. Do you know what this is for? This is for pushing your shitty fibre optic into crevices in your car's dashboard, and it's like, yeah, let's not do that to the car. Now, I could carbonate the rest of the wine. I'm going to scroll down and see what you guys are saying. Need to foot switch those lights, save your back. I could do, Robert. Back isn't that bad, actually. Especially these days. When are you going to Glasgow next, Chapel Chicks? As soon as I can get back. You know, once this whole pandemic thing is under control, then I do plan. I want to get back to Glasgow, but I'm a bit worried about what's Glasgow going to be like when I get back. When I go into the city centre for my usual wander around, how many of those shops are going to be shut? That's quite concerning. Cost buttons because the optics are superior, probably Mark Gray, and it will be super simple. It's not going to be like professional grade. It's going to be, makes your fibre optic flash. They might as well use an LED in it. Dr. Spatula. That's the pad you get with window falls. It is, but it was supplied with that, suggesting that it's to actually maybe push in between the plastic trim to actually separate it enough to actually force the little fin that comes the side of that side glow with. I shall go 45 RPM. I want to go to Glasgow to Rub-a-Dub Music Shop. Rub-a-Dub. I think I remember Rub-a-Dub. Was Rub-a-Dub not the one that did all the current upcoming chart music? I think it was. And they were like, basically, they had racks of free singles in that era when singles were still a thing. So that the DJs would hopefully take these and go and play them. And also nowadays, I suppose it would be CDs or stuff like that. I'm not really sure. MP3 files. Then you'd expect to just download them. But yeah, it was an interesting shop. It was always had someone at the decks playing music. It was quite interesting. Full of DJs. All right, okay. You mean a pry tool for your car interior? Yes. Def Palm says, typical at Fast Flow. Love dubstep music. What's my preferred type of music? I've heard it described recently, but it's kind of dance techno. EDM, electronic dance music, is pretty much it, isn't it? Because I had my brain addled in the 1980s with square waves from electronic gaming equipment. I'm going to get a small bottle, I'm going to carbonate this and see what happens to me. I can guarantee this is going to be disappointing. You're going to see just how little gas there is left in this. Is there going to be even enough wine to get up to that point? Yes, there is apparently. There is enough wine to get up more or less to the bubble level. I wouldn't need to add American cream soda to it or something like that. Let's get busy with the fizzy. Thank you, Emmett. Carbonate the wine peer pressure contribution. It is peer pressure. You guys are making me carbonate it. Look how shit this is going to be. Oh, that's not bad. Maybe it's because I've been using a bigger bottle previously. Is it going to fart? It's farted. Let's make it fart again. Now I have to hold it here until the foam settles down, because if I let go now, all the wine will just spray out the bottom of the unit, as it does. Instant champagne. It is champagne. It is Redhead Forster. This is where it goes to rants and dirty talk, and suddenly Bad Dragon are the main subject again. Despite the fact that, I was going to say, despite the fact I've never used a bad dragon product, but technically speaking, I have used their brick as a support for stuff in the videos. Do I have Co-op wine sponsorship? Not yet, Jennifer. Are you offering? Does it taste nice or carbonated? Yes, it is honestly like, as far as I'm concerned, it's like champagne. Electron Box says support for hemorrhoids. Oh yeah, the Bad Dragon toys. I think it would bludgeon them flat. They would, yeah, something would happen. Terry B says, I have 7 Bad Dragons. They're great. Terry B, that is just greed. Do you actually televise yourself putting them all in simultaneously? The pressure's off. Let me just wipe this down. Excellent. I'll do the ASMR bit with fizzy wine. That sound all right? And this is fundamentally where the stream goes to shit, quite literally. Because we've been here before. I'll try and control myself. Julian Eilert, it is frothy, man. Oh, you remember that. You remember Cremola foam with that beer. Hi, it's frothy, man. It was a bear as well. Oh, well, there's a strange coincidence. Now I want one. Well, Simon Walker, there's lots of options. If you go on eBay now, you know how I've featured the soda sign from the past, which is the old-fashioned thing that you basically fill with water, you screw a lid on, and then you put the carbon dioxide capsule and it goes like, pew, and then when you pull the trigger, it squirts out carbonated water, or in my case, it squirted out wine foam. You can now get gadgets on eBay. There's a lot more options. It's not just SodaStream anymore. That take those Sparklets capsules, and it's the bottle itself has a lid that you put the Sparklets capsule into the lid and tighten it down, and it carbonates your wine. If I was really making an effort, I'd just go and get a big tank of carbon dioxide. I'd end up like asphyxiating myself. But quite useful in here for putting out fires and doing experiments, creating dry ice and liquid CO2 and gaseous CO2. Quite useful. Have you tried to carbonate tea or coffee? I've not tried that. No handy mouse, not Knox capsules for party time. But you know what I was looking at? I came across my little Knox thing recently. The little thing, I bought it not knowing what it was. I was looking for nitrous oxide on eBay and they were selling these things, but it looked like it was big. It was sold as if it was a big creamer. And when it arrived, it was like this. And I'm thinking, what the heck is that? It turns out, right, you open up, you put the nitrous oxide capsule in it, and you put a balloon over the end, and it's got a little piercing spike here inside. And then you close it up, and it inflates your balloon with nitrous oxide, and then you sniff the nitrous oxide. They were selling on eBay. They still are selling them on eBay. They're very stylish, but the listings tend to get taken down quite abruptly. I should treasure this one. I've never used nitrous oxide. I've no real plans to use nitrous oxide. Oh, but tell you what, I don't know if the refrigeration posse are still here, but a discussion recently is the number of people who sniff Freon refrigerant gas, and they actually go up outside people's houses, and the Schrader valve, they poke it in and either fill the balloon or just sniff it direct from the system, and they're sniffing the refrigerant gas to basically cause lack of oxygen to give an effect. So the refrigeration guys are turning up and they're saying, like, one story about it was that they couldn't find this leak. Their system was just like, they kept going out to this place and there was just this continuous leak. Oh, thank you, Brendan Perkins, for the Rum Fund. They kept going out to find this leak. They couldn't find it until the daughter of the family was taken into hospital because she had maybe sniffed a bit too much Freon, and they discovered the reason they had a refrigerant leak in their air conditioning system is because the daughter was sniffing it. Halon 1301. I don't think so, Bungo the Bear. I know what Halon is. We had Halon extinguishers in our substations at the steelworks. Mike Hanley, sniffing gases like that can result in a quick death. Yes, it can. From Freon huffers. Holy sheep shit. Indeed, I'd never heard of that, Peter S. I work with Hussman. I'd never heard of that. I know that one of the guys at Hussman, not in our branch, was leaning into a case, deep case, looking for a fault, looking for a leak, fell asleep into the case and died because it was full of Freon. It was leaking and you can't smell it. And he didn't know that. It displaces oxygen. He wouldn't even know what was happening. He'd just basically be leaning and he'd be getting sort of giggly and sleepy. And then he went and it was like, oh, that's a bit of a wake-up call. I could smell Freon. I thought I could smell Freon. I thought it smelled like coconut. But in reality, it was the refrigerant oil that was being misted out from the leak that I could actually smell. The Freon was carrying the oil out, and that gave it that sort of coconutty smell to me. Same with this thing with CO2. Well, the thing with CO2, Ola Lundgren, that's the one gas your body uses to regulate breathing. So if you breathe in carbon dioxide, it will make you start gasping for air. It causes that sort of panic because your body recognizes the CO2 as its signal that there's a lack of oxygen. Nitrogen, helium. You see these people sniffing the helium balloons and doing this sort of squeaky voice. They then black out sometimes. Saw someone exposed to Halo in a computer room. He forgot to switch system to manual, went in there and started soldering a pipe. That wasn't a good day. No. There's lots of alarms happen before the Halon system is released. You have to get out of the place as soon as possible. The effects are rapid. When it displaces all the oxygen. Nasty. We got all trained up in that very quickly. When we were working in the substations, they said, if this goes, just get out as quick as possible. Jaeger time to Kurt Mast. Kurt Mast. Kurt, is this another dead person? German entrepreneur. Oh, no, it's auto-corrected it. Thanks, Google. I didn't want that auto-corrected it. Put it to Kurt Masters. The Meister behind Jägermeister. Well, that kind of fits, doesn't it? He was born the son of Wilhelm Mast, a vinegar manufacturer in. Oh, well, let's improve on the flavour of that then. It was the production of spirit drinks that have become his passion. Oh, I wonder what other drinks he made. This has just linked me to Jägermeister's site. I thought it was going to be Wikipedia. That's not Wikipedia's logo. Here we go. Wilhelm Mast founded Mast Jägermeister SE. His son developed the recipe for the herb-flavoured 70 proof 35% liqueur Jägermeister, which he first brought to market in 1935. That's a long time ago. Gunther Mast was the managing director for many years until his death in 2011. Mast Jägermeister produced 76.5 million bottles in the financial year 2006 and grew by 15% in 2005. Most of the production, 56.6 million, was exported to over 70 countries worldwide, including this one, apparently. Okay. So, Kurt Mast. So I'm getting born as son of Wilhelm Mast. So what was Kurt Mast? Well, let's do. Oh, he's the one who designed it. Okay, let's do a Jaeger shot to Kurt Mast, the person who designed Jägermeister. To Kurt Mast, who designed this drink. Well, seems appropriate. To Kurt. Okay, he made it taste like cough mixture, but that's a minor technicality. It's still quite acceptable. He said, people can drink shots to me if you wish. I quite like it because that's how I make my money. The mercenary. Oh, I think you're confusing carbon monoxide with CO2. Carbon monoxide, Alistair Ware. Now, carbon monoxide doesn't give you any clues either, other than the headache. Carbon dioxide is the one that actually makes you, if you go into it, it will cause a reaction. It's how your body regulates its breathing. Thank you, Eric Carlson. Oh, he's just catching up on this stream. He's been super busy these days. But carbon monoxide is different. You know, I'm going to have to make a video about ozone shortly. I know I've been talking about ozone a lot. I know that when I make the video about ozone, there'll be these people who search the internet for the word ozone or 5G, and then they find the videos and they don't even watch the video. They'll just go straight into the comments and they'll go, ozone causes cancer, or ozone, if you breathe it, you will die. I'm a fucking expert. I'm a fucking Karen. This wine is a really bad idea. But anyway, yes, I'm going to actually mimic them in the videos so that when they do leave the comment down below, everybody can look at the comments and say, oh, there's one of them. What a dickhead. Yes, they can. See, this is a bad idea. This is what I'm talking about. You guys did this deliberately. Yes, the wine does still work. Cheap co-op wine put through the soda stream, Graham Reed, multiplies it by about 10. No, I'm not even going to mention the NIC. No, DEFPOM, I'm not going to drink more wine. I'm going to save that for when we do another Zoom. And then I'm going to be the one who demonetizes the whole Zoom because I swear in it and say inappropriate things. Yes, Cal Mayhew, thank you very much. Yay, wine rants. But anyway, yes, Karens, the experts, the peer-reviewed science where all the peers that reviewed each other's science were just talking bullshit. Is it woofle time? It is not woofle time. Woofle time happens in 25 minutes. It happens in the half hour. I love the smell of ozone. Right? I used to love the smell of ozone. Jeffrey Hebert. I used to love the smell of ozone until I over-ozonated my house, and then I just suddenly, your body says, this isn't good. It stinks. But I tell you what, recently, I featured this in the, which stream did I think it was the Patreon stream. Hold on. I featured this. This is a little ozone generator module that uses a ceramic ozone generator. Now, in a recent stream, I mentioned the capacitors. I'll come back to that in a moment. The disc capacitors that I thought I might be able to use the ceramic in them. It turns out the ceramic isn't quite as ceramic as you think. This one is 5 volts. I've got a resistor stuffed into it, a high value resistor, so I could just put the croc clips on. But it made me realise that all the neon lovers that used to use the little cold cathode power supplies with the Royer oscillator and the high voltage output, they're becoming hard to get these days. The new replacement is apparently the 12 and 5 volt ozone generators, but this wire is going straight to transformer. There's no capacitor in the series. If you want to do that, people who have used these before know what I'm talking about. There's a little blue disc capacitor, high voltage, rated about 4,000 volts or something like that. They put it in series with the tube because it limits the current in each half cycle, and it just stops it sort of maybe shunting the transformer in here. If you want a little neon power supply, the ozone generator power supplies may be perfect for that, but with a capacitor in series. DS says, thank you DS, I brought whiskey to my first live experience expecting more drinking. I can't believe it took me so long, except for last night, which didn't count. You have to bring a drink with you. It doesn't have to be alcoholic. Bring drinks and snacks. Now, China North Airguns, has the inspector been around about your TV licence? They've not, but they have dropped off another red letter. Oh no, not a red letter. Hold on. I'll put that through. Ooh. To the legal occupier. Oh no, this looks serious. Anyway, enough of the BBC, because let's face it, YouTube is infinitely better. Now, capacitors. Capacitors. I dipped a blue high voltage capacitor, a 1000 volt capacitor, in acetone, and it did dissolve the resin. And the resin peeled off. It turned rubbery, and it all peeled off the outside of the capacitor, and it revealed a brown disc inside. And this is another thing that me and Dave talk about on the Amp Hour live stream, the podcast that will be coming up, because I thought it was just going to be white ceramic inside with a metallized coating on each side and then the electrode on. And it was the brown ceramic, but it had it was printed on with metallic ink, and then it was like the electrodes hadn't been soldered on. Maybe it was soft melt solder, but if you try soldering it actually, all the other metallization comes off. But they were kind of almost like metal glued on, so the legs snapped off very easily. However, it didn't really work as an ozone generator. But what's more interesting is the disc was about 0.5 millimeter thick of this brown ceramic, and it had these tiny little 1/4 inch 6 millimeter discs on it. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, because if that's all it takes to make a capacitor of that value, which is ionizer value, then I can make an ionizer by just having a thin circuit board with pads overlapping on either side. And that would actually they would be built-in capacitors into the circuit board. All it needs is the diode zigging back, zigging. Zigzagging backwards and forwards. So experimentally, I got a bit of circuit board material and stuck similar sized pieces of foil on, and it was measuring like picofarads. It was rubbish. It's the dielectric constant is such a complicated thing. You can get materials. I just thought it was a separator as a separator. Scott Hettel, thank you. Next bottle of wine is me. Drink up, buddy. No, it's a bad idea. But I thought I ended up with a bit of paper, and I put big pieces of aluminium foil on the other side. And it turns out that material is not just any old ceramic. There's something really special about it that must transfer the charge from one electrode to the other while providing that electrical isolation. It's something I didn't know about capacitors, and it makes things complicated. It completely screwed that project up absolutely rotten. I have a video I'd like to make. Just building an ionizer, but there's a problem with that. Quite a lot of people are just pissed off with my ionizers. They've had enough ionizers because I just bang the ionizer drum a bit too much. My perspective on ionizers changed though. But also, the ionizer I'd build is only suitable for 220 volt, which means it's rubbish for the Americans and Canadians. It is not just the BBC you're not allowed to watch. Any programme Ben Sumner Bogart, any programme live that's being broadcast, TV without a TV licence, no matter if it's BBC or online. Almost, but not online in the sense of the YouTube. Certainly this channel you do not require a BBC licence, and if anybody ever implies that you do and you do pay it, then fuck them, I'll go and beat the shit out of them myself. Capita. Oh, fuck's sake. Jesus Christ, the white wine, or whatever colour it is. Yes, it's a bad idea. Jack Attack Zig a Zig pink cigar. What? Yeah, AOM Videoland. This is why it's a bad idea. It's all going to go to shit now. Anyway, 45 RPM. It is the wine talking. From this point, I'm no longer responsible for anything I say, including strapping the directors of Capita into electric chairs and then actually making a video about it for YouTube. Oh, Matt Tester, this is not helpful. More champagne, he says. Thank you for that. It's very entertaining. So here's the secret of YouTube is going to... yes. Apparently, the more I drink, the more super chats get sent. That's something I didn't know about YouTube. But there we go. Despite cunch of bunts, they are a cunch of bunts fish. I'll top up the wine. Nick Norton says catheter good for piss. Yes. I've never had a catheter put in. Max Lamb, thank you. Finished work, got my kebab and my drink, good choice. Cheers, Clive. Thanks for hosting my evening's worth of entertainment. You're welcome. Kebab, good choice indeed. No Patrick Burns, I will not start removing my clothing, although I will say it's quite hot in here. It's getting hot in here. I just want to take all my clothes off, or whatever it is. Oh, Blur says, oh no, Munted Clive. Yes. Ben Sumner Bogard, by live broadcast, I didn't mean that you're watching something currently happening, but broadcast TV live, so it includes pre-recorded programs, but you can watch them and catch up. Yes, indeed. I suppose that YouTube is all catch up because you're not watching it live as such. Thank you, Lily. Multipass. As long as you balance the bad ideas, the good ones, you're fine. Unless your most recent bad idea is your last idea. All my ideas are terrible. Oh, thank you, Andy Baker. Buy yourself some pretty Chineseium, I shall. Clive, what's your best joke? I can't tell my best joke, Djangoholic, because it's inappropriate. There are a number that some can't be spoken. But one of my favourites that I actually heard when I was actually on an IPAF course, one of those shitty protection racket courses, it was a plumber made the joke about, he said, a guy winds down the window of his van and shouts, "Hi, kid, I'll give you a tenner if you come in my van." And the kid shouts back, "Make it 20, I'll come in your face." See, that's inappropriate. But yes, anyway, that's why I don't tell jokes after drinking. It's not an auction. Don't everybody start sending like super chats. It's a bad idea. Another version of that is, "Hi kid, if you come in my van, I'll give you some candy." And the kid shouts back, "Give me the whole bag and I'll come in your face." Yeah, yes, indeed. Grameshaw says, my ideas are all brilliant, particularly when I'm pissed. Sometimes I do design things while under the influence of alcohol, and I look back the next day and think, actually, that's not practical. But you know what? Let's give it a go anyway. Pittsburgh Flip Set, thank you. Carbonate the Buckfast. I did carbonate Buckfast. I did. It was all right. It didn't hold it for very long. Ralph got the carbonated Buckfast. I'm trying to get Ralph to make a video about that. You know my shameless clickbait this week? Let me just... Zane the Magic Puffer Dragon, thank you. More jokes? No, you're not getting the other jokes because they're just not suitable at all. Like they're just offensive beyond the realm of belief. So that's something that can only be done live in certain company. What do you think about Fibonacci? The Fibonacci ratio, Jeff, is interesting. It's an interesting thing. Thanks, Revu. Oh, I've made it 20, thank you. You realise that I'm going to have to buy wine with this now and then. Things will go terribly wrong. We don't care, no, you would, Kay. It's just terrible. The joke that's coming to my mind now is one that cannot be repeated in public because it's like bad, but for certain people it will be mortally, like, heartbreakingly offensive. So that's not going to happen online. No, I can't. There's a joke. I'll tell it at a meetup to selected audience, but I won't do it online. No, it doesn't matter, John. Even after Watershed. No, you're not. I'm not going to tell that joke. I really amn't. Anyway, let's change the subject now. Let's just change the subject away from this. There is no OnlyFans. This is my OnlyFans as such. Let me just... oh, no, I can't do this. Yes, I can. This is going to screw things up. Hold on. Thanks, Jason. Hold on. More freaking jokes, damn it. I can't tell those jokes. They're just, like, bad beyond the realm of not even nice bad, but really, really bad. Let me just do something here. I'm just looking at stuff. Show more. That's not working. Library. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's my just shameless clickbait. I'm looking for my analytics here. I'm not getting my analytics. Hold on, give me a second here. YouTube is quite big and complex. Sometimes it does stuff like this. Analytics, and currently one of my top videos, well, the top video is the one where I opened a fucking carton of coffee and took a look at the mechanism inside. I did not expect... I'll give you the statistics. I'll give you the statistics for that. The secret mechanism in your drink carton, the statistics are that is at 824,000 views and more than 5,000 subscribers. That's ludicrous, right? Okay. Let me tell you what happened with the most recent one where I broke the law accidentally by distilling in a video. The analytics, it said 443,000 views, 1.2 thousand subscribers, and the little trending line, right? This is the little line starts off down here, and usually the line goes like, that's the number of views, and then it just flatlines. It's like every new video, particularly if it's a bad video, if it's like some boring subject, LED lamps, or really low power fan filtration, it's like, and it's like YouTube says, this video is underperforming. This one is like, this line is just pointing diagonally up. And it's so that 443,000 views for me putting on a silly hat. I can hold on. I can give you a link to this hat. Do you guys want a link to my silly hat? The red hat I wore in that video, because I've found the keywords to find it back again on YouTube. I'm just going to change back to my channel on YouTube here because I'm currently operating between two channels. switch account. Let's go back to Big Clive Live. This is better. This is not going to result in weird stuff. No thanks, you can keep that one. The 80s duvet hat is... Hat link, please, Julian Eilert. You do want it. Okay, then. Let me just find this. I shall find a suitable link to just a whole range of these hats in colours. I was talking to Ralph about it today. I said you should wear one of these hats just so people can have a similar hat to you. But he's no, it must be tweed. And it's like, up you, you whiskey snob. What is 4 legs and 1 arm, a Doberman in a children's playground? Yeah, see, I could think of a worse joke than that, but I can't say it in public because it would cause mortal offence. So what do I have in my eBay shopping basket at the moment? I have an air filter for a car. It turns out it's too big. I've got air filters in order for Dyson vacuum cleaners to make an adapter so they can be fitted into the little fan thing I did. Having been inspired recently by looking at Steve Summers and his big luxury mechanics toolbox, I was looking at a cheaper alternative that's actually affordable to ship to Isle of Man, and it's a US Pro Tools mechanics tool chest. Quite fancy that for segregating all the tools. They're apparently available in 2 versions, the ones that will collapse under the weight of a real mechanics tools and the ones that will actually sustain the weight of real mechanics tools. Here is unisex men, women, kitchen chef, cap, catering service, waiter, cooking, beret, hat. Righty-ho. Give me a second here. This is the UK listing. It's Chinese. It's coming from China, isn't it? It will come from China. But here's the listing for these hats. Furbear is pushing dulutthtrading.com. I do have my Duluth shorts still from Furbear. He sent me a pair of Duluth trading shorts. Thank you for that. Sam, thank you. Managed to get that coin selector out without trying to do pal per chance. Really looking forward to it. +5 for the soda wine fund. I shall put it towards wine. I know where it is. The problem with the coin selector video is that because it has to be mounted vertically, I take it all back, rehats. What, Julian? What? Buy one, Julian. You know you want to. Buy the black and white stripy one, the checker pattern one. There's also one with pictures of ice cream all over it. It's available in quite a wide selection of hats. We've got ice cream, we've got burgundy, black, red, white stripe, yellow, orange, red, white stripe. That's the one I wore. Light brown, dark brown, black, white stripe, big red, brown, white stripe, black, white plaid. Black, white plaid. Oh, it's that one. Blue, white stripe. And pepper. Ooh, chili pepper. It's lurid. It's the sort of thing Ralph wouldn't be seen dead in, therefore I shall wear them. Ennar, am I going to drunk buy one of these? Look at the cost. Look at the cost of that hat. It may not fit. The cost of that hat is, in the UK, £3.35 with free postage from China. Are you going to buy one of those hats? What size is it? Is it going to fit your head? That one kind of fitted my head-ish. I've got a big head. Physically. But the coin selector I should, especially given the number of times I've had it out and I've practiced putting coins in to make sure I don't make a dick of myself by actually putting coins in, then it doesn't remember the settings. But it means I can't use it in the normal orientation of the bench. It's going to have to be done vertically. Imitate any recent beer crushes apart from Brad the Welder and Josh. Maybe, but I don't like discussing such things. It makes me look gay. £3.59 now. Hold on, £3.59. Hold on. Which hat are you looking at here? Is it available? It is not available in tweed. It is available in shit. £3.35, but hold on, it might be a different price for that one. Black white stripe is £3.59. It is, it's by the hat. So red and white stripe is £3.59. It's fine. It's £4. It's $6, $5. It's not that much. Some are more dear. They are indeed. Is it available in shit? It is available in light brown and dark brown chipmunk. So you can choose the shade of feces that you want to wear on your head. And black. Or red if you've used a bad dragon toy with stripes. Had pray from Abominable Snowman Pubes. Yes, Brendan Perkins, have you been drinking as well? This is what happens in these streams, they just degenerate. I bet HVACR North Joe has potent rum right at the moment. He does like his rum. I thought this was the Imagineer hat. It is kind of hemp beer. It's the exact same thing that Disney look at those hats and think, oh, that's part of a Disney costume. Yes, it is. You'll find that certain Disney cast members are wearing hats like that. And I said TFI Friday, thank fuck it's Friday. No, it's TGI Friday, thank God it's Friday. The restaurant, you'll suddenly recognise that hat as being part of the costume of those really arrogantly cocky waiters and waitresses that are really a bit over enthusiastic. Mark Passo says, feces? I beg your pardon. I didn't promise you a rose garden. Yes, that's the other one with big boobies. Rum. Yes, Belgian muscle. Indeed. Where's this hat link? It's right down here. Hold on. Pal, there's your link. I remember, for those of you who remember this, oh, Chapel Chicks, fuck's sake, yes, indeed. For those who remember TFI Friday was, what was his name? Chris? Yeah, Chris, whatever his name was. I can't remember. I used to watch it. It was actually quite funny. TFI Friday was a TV program, thank fuck it's Friday, which was on Friday, which Chris Evans, that's the one. It was actually a pretty good program. That was actually quite funny, some of the stuff he did. It was very, very rude. Pin the link? No, I'm not going to pin it because when I pin it, it really screws up the live stream, the chat. Drankaholic, thank you. Clive, you'd suit a Louisiana fedora hat. A Louisiana, I'm just going to copy and paste this into, oh, I can't copy it. I can kind of copy it. It's coming out a completely different colour. What the fuck is going on there? The highlighted, okay, I'll try and copy that and then put it up here. Louisiana. Oh, right, okay. It's almost like a mini Stetson, isn't it? That's almost like my, hold on, one moment, please. It's almost like my Burma hat. Give me 1 second. I'm thinking I may have misstored this, except not really, because that's what it's designed to do. It's Australian, it's a Burma hat, and notice this mesh. Hold on. Can I accentuate the mesh here with light? No, I can't. I don't have a light. Suffice to say, you can see my fingers through this. It's a mesh. It's like almost like a Stetson, but it is an Australian hat, bought in Australia, which is ventilated and slightly floppy. When the wind catches it, it's very embarrassing. It does this, which is just annoying. But it's basically speaking a packable Stetson, which is quite good. I used to use it a lot at the Embraer 2. Probably will still. Yugumian suggestion, Florian Schneider, Kraftwerk founder, who died in April 2020. Listen, more people have died, for fuck's sake. Kraftwerk, all you're doing is showing my age. Here, hold on. Oh, hey, he wasn't young, was he? Well, he wasn't super old either. Just give me a second here. Florian Schneider. He died age 73, which is pretty good going. German musician, he's known as one of the founding members and leaders of the electronic brand Kraftwerk. She's a model and she's looking good. Yes, okay. Florian Schneider, that's viable for that. But it is time to whiffle. I will not whiffle the hat. I shall put the hat on while I whiffle and do an Australian Burma hat whiffle. Oh, look, the colour even matches the beard. It's like graduated. It's even worse now. Hold on, I'm going to get the little capsule out here because it's kind of heated up now. I've had it in my waistband. Is it going to mate properly? Is it going to mate properly? Let us light this. And create flames. And then go whoosher. It's not that impressive. I think we have to work on this a bit. Oh, that's better. The copper tape really helps inhibit the flames getting back to the important bit full of gas. Whoosher. Whoofler. I shall keep the hat well away from this because it's got a skip that kind of deflects flames into the face. It doesn't seem like a good idea. Whoofle. Oh my, said Clive, looking surprised. Oh my God, it burst into flames. Whoofle. It makes a nice mushroom, doesn't it? It looks good. It's very visual. It's a tiny amount of gas. You get so many woofles for $1. It's just basically a bargain. Maximum carnage, minimum money. So, acetylene whoosher would be nice. It would be interesting. I'm not sure how loud that... It would be loud, Ravenlooney. It would require the acetylene and oxygen in the correct proportions. The nice thing about the Burma hat is once you've finished wearing it, when you're wanting to pack it up, you can just squish it flat. It's designed to be flat and floppy. It's very, very light and flexible. It's designed literally to be folded up like this. You can crush the hat into a thing and then it just springs open again and pops up. And suddenly it's a full-on Burma hat again. It's Australian. It's very good. But when the wind catches it, it's very embarrassing when your hat's like vibrating all around your head. Think I might get a distressed trucker's hat from eBay. It is a thing, isn't it, Eddie Munster? eBay has everything. I'm going to type in distressed trucker's hat now. Camouflage cap also works at times. Hold on. eBay. Distressed. Is the trucker distressed? Trucker hat. Bronco girl. What? Look at the length of the skip. That's ridiculous. Now I'm suddenly realised, now here's the thing. I've got to ask you. Eric O of South Main Auto. He wears a baseball cap, but the brim of it is all scuffed and worn out, and you can see the sort of thing inside of it that makes it skip-shaped. I've never managed to do that to a hat. Is he braiding that, or is it just because he's a mechanic and it gets put through the washing machine quite a lot? Maybe the American washing machines just shred baseball caps. I'm not really sure. Made from kangaroo ball bag. It probably is. Now, Scott Morton says, we used to fill an upturned polystyrene cup with oxyacetylene, set it off, would shake all the dust out workshop roof. Husman used to fill black bin bags with it and then light the bin bag, cord the little tail, the little tie thing, and then run like fuck. And then the detonation was absolutely monstrous. I actually gave a co-worker in Husman a stun gun to try and light as acetylene torch with. It actually arced to the acetylene torch in one hand and then to his finger in the other. He was not pleased. It did not. It didn't light. The only thing it lit was the refrigeration engineer. Even the word brim is funny now, says Brendan Perkins. Oh, brim. That's a brim. That's what we say here. Even baseball caps, it's a brim. It's a skip, isn't it? Oh, it's cultural differences. I bet coffee wasn't required for that day. No, he was most exhilarated, Zenodilodon. He declined my offer to use it again. That was a time when it was actually illegal to have stun guns in Britain, so I shouldn't really probably have had a stun gun in the construction site, let alone be running around after people making stun gun noises with it, threatening to zap them. Yeah. A Kubra hat, Australian felt hat. A Kubra hat. Let's take a look at that. A Kubra hat. That Burma hat was bought at the Victoria Market in Melbourne. Oh, it's the same sort of thing, but it's bloody hell, that's quite expensive. Except the Jules fedora hat's not so bad. It looks more permanent. Leather cowboy hat. I do have a Stetson somewhere that I bought in America. But that's quite nice, that flat one, because it actually packs into your travel kit. MD who works in the entertainment industry or travels with construction will know how important it is to keep your toolkit and your clothing kit quite compact. Raccoon tail hats are nice. I'm not so sure about that, Terry B. They're very Canadian. Stun gun or just an igniter? It was actually a stun gun, Andrew. See, it was like full-on stun gun. One I bought in America, took back to the hotel on International Drive in America and then tried on my leg and it hurt like fuck and left it feeling black and blue. There's a surprise. And then I took it apart and packed the bits in different bags so it didn't really show up in X-ray. It probably did as a stun gun. I've had stuff like that seized by customs. They're such killjoys. Thanks, Hans. Thanks for stream class. Spent time for me, first stream, and I'm blown away. You're such a genuinely honest and true to yourself person. I think you'll find, Hans, that's the alcohol that's talking, but it does tend to get a bit loose here. It is smutty technical family here. A sombrero would suit Clive. Ian Cooper, you possibly. I like the Mexican look. I do like the whole Mexican image. They're quite hot, some of them. I didn't say that. I did. Gringo. Get Clive a poncho. Ponchos are unacceptable fashion here. Thank you, Mr. Planet Man. Much appreciated. Fool's cap, Julian Ullett. That is, I might as well have had a fool's cap. Might as well have had the dunce cap at school. If there'd been a dunce cap at school, I'd have been the one who worn it. Because I was the dunce at school. Mainly because they were just going blah, 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 geography, history, and I was like, oh, fuck you, I'm thinking of circuits. This happens. I bet a lot of you guys were dunces as well. Rip's fool's cap replaced by A4 now. Yes, it doesn't really fit anymore. Hold on. I could get a stapler. I could get a piece of A4 and we could see. Hold on. We shall test this. I don't think this is going to make a good dunce cap. Scissor Fight says I was a dunce. I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to have to go for the biggest possible. This is not going to work, is it? How did they even... That's rubbish. Hold on. I'm going to do my best to make a dunce cap here for school days. It's not going to look right. Yeah. Julian, was it you said this? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like Ming the Merciless and it doesn't even fit. See, it's just not doing it, is it? Anyway, that's the hat I wore at school. Yes, but those days are behind me. Prison, more like it. Thank you, Eddie. Possibly consider raising a beverage to Reverend Nicholas Callan. What? The fact is a reverend is a bit suspicious. Rev Nicholas Callan. Oh, an Irish priest. Another Reverend Nicholas came up there. Oh, he was a scientist, right? Okay, hold on. He wasn't just all nuns and shit. Hold on, I'm just checking out here. Google guy who knocks out kangaroo is so hilarious. Oh, does he punch the kangaroo? Oh, he is notable 1834 and is best known for his work on the induction coil. Wow. God, what did those like nuns and shit do? Oh God, it's like full on like big coils. Callan's induction coil at the National Science Museum. What was he doing? Soft iron, blah, blah, blah. Further experiment showed the coil device could bring the shock. Oh, right. So he was giving nuns electric shocks, probably. Oh, it's the Catholic Church, probably. He was like, oh, dildos. Really? The Maynooth battery and other inventions. Callan experimented with designing batteries after he found the models available to him at the time to be insufficient for research in electromagnetism. The Yearbook of Facts in Science and Art, published in 1849, had an article titled The Maynooth Battery, which begins, "We notice this new and cheap voltaic battery in the Yearbook Facts, 1848. The inventor, Reverend D. Callan, professor in natural philosophy in Maynooth College, has communicated to the Philosophical Magazine number 219. This is very complicated for mine. Some additional experiments compare a cast iron battery with that of a Groves of equal size. Some previous batteries had used rare metals such as platinum and unresponsive metals like carbon and zinc. Materials, should I say. Callan found that he could use cast iron instead of platinum or carbon. He used cast iron and placed a zinc plate in a porous pot. Iron and zinc formed two different types of acid. He was able to build a battery with just a single solution. He also built the world's biggest battery at the time. To construct the battery, he joined about 577 individual battery cells, which used over 30 gallons of acid. Fuck's sake. Since instruments for measuring current voltage has not been invented, Callan measured the strength of the battery, measuring how much weight his electromagnet could lift when powered by the battery. Using his giant battery, he lifted 2 tons. Could be worse. Oh, he discovered an earthworm galvanization to protect iron from rusting. And he patented the idea. I thought he was going to test it by how many nuns he could kill at once with it. Liz Edwards is off to bed. Good night, Liz. Would you like one little whoosh before you go? I can give you a whoosh before you go. Hold on. Since Liz Edwards is only here for the flames, we know what you're like, Liz. You're a bad girl. Here's your whoosh before bedtime. It's not a very good one. It's just blown the flame out. Hold on. It's not bad. It's not great. It could do with improvement. It stinks of air freshener because this is made of air freshener. Okay. That's your bedtime whoosh, Liz. Sleep well. 6 nuns is 1 grail. That is 2 tons of nuns. Unless it's a fat nun, because they're more conductive. Sounds like a G-Whiz battery. Julian, am I going to... I'm going to look that up now. G-Whiz battery. Oh, right, for the thing, the little car. Yeah, that could well be that. I'd already forgotten the G-Whiz was. Peace were just as bad, also with the choir boys. Rodney and Mackay, that is not how you spell choir, but it's okay. We won't judge you on that. Will it carbonate nuns? We could try carbonate nuns. I'm very disappointed that churches haven't embraced animatronic nuns and devils. Pop-up rubber nuns and things like that. Seems appropriate that I'm pouring wine while I say things like that. That is the wine finished. But that's okay. Blue Nun. Jack Attack. Well, strangely enough, there's a video somewhere showing people who they approach them and say, would you recognize good quality champagne if you were given it? And they say, well, I think I'm a champagne expert. And they gave them carbonated Blue Nun in the soda stream. They said, this is a pretty good quality champagne. They said it's Blue Nun. It was like, oh. Duck O'Neill says, wine always brings the best out. It brings the worst out of me. HVACR North is still here. He's hanging in here. He's showing a pint of beer. I'm not sure it will be beer. I bet it's a pint of rum. Nuns in the Run. I never saw the film Nuns in the Run. Bad Dragon should make inflatable rubber nuns. Given the size of Bad Dragon toys, it would probably be enormous if it was inflated. Quite jolly, Roger. But they should make one called The Nun. They could do, like, you could have a whole collection called The Convent. I bet we could get blow-up nuns. I'm just going to eBay for a blow-up nun right now. What am I going to find on eBay for blow-up nun? I'll definitely find nuns' costumes, but they will probably be made of PVC. eBay. This is where it'd be good to actually show you the screen. Maybe I have to work on that in the future. Maybe not, because I might show you my purchase history. Blow up nun. Up none. Blow up nun. It is an inflatable nun that you're supposed to punch, along with inflatable zimmers and inflatable palm trees, inflatable pink flamingos, and an inflatable penis, apparently. Just let me check out the size of this. This might actually show Bad Dragon up here right at the moment. It's 3 foot long. They could have given it in meters. It's roughly a meter long. That would actually cause serious... Oh, they've got the 90 centimeter one. Right, tell you what. Yeah, okay, right. You want the link. You can have the link to inflatable penises for no good reason at all. What were we talking about before? Saturday Night Clive, inflatable penis, apparently. Now, back to the nuns. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Nun Dodo. Does eBay have anything for Nun Dodo? Sketch off adult game after dark fans of Pictionary cards against humanity. Alright, it's Cards Against Humanity, but it's really rude. It didn't find any for nuns. Nun costume. How long before I find the PVC one? There's nun costumes. There's 776, 689 for nun costume. They're all, no, they don't wear sussies. That's not right. That is definitely perverted nun costumes and big crucifixes along with them. That nun costume is far too short. It's showing that's the Naomi Wu nun costume. Hold on, I'm just going to add the PVC variable in and see how many turn up. Nun costume PVC. It's a monk necklace. It's a monk with a crucifix. Oh, ugh. Oh no, used PVC nun costume. Oh no. That's quite expensive. That's from America. Hold on. Just give me a second here. There you go. It's a shiny. It's got very high dielectric strength. It's going to save you from electrocution. Oh, Chapel Chicks has to go. Oh, okay. I'm not surprised. It's like you're limited by the communication at the moment and battery life on your phone, but thanks for joining us, Chapel Chicks. I do a nun, indeed. Incidentally, in the description of this video, you will find a link to the Chapel Chicks GoFundMe. In case you don't know what's happened, Chapel Chicks was who's a regular on here, as you know, has been evicted. She has like 10 hens and a couple of chickens, and she's got a cat and a dog. She's ended up living in a transit van with her goods, her belongings stored in containers, and she broke her ankle quite badly, and it kind of ruined her career as a truck driver until things could get back, and COVID has not helped. So there's a link down below if you, rather than leave, like super chats, you might want to go and take a look at Chapel Chicks GoFundMe. We've done quite well. It's already doubled the value that she was looking for. It's to get her van MOT'd, which means like made compliant with the UK road safety regulations, which means getting it all fixed up before she can go through that yearly test. So she, her dog and cat and chickens, which are all in divided sections of the van, can actually live in comfort and actually drive to where she or her belongings stored. That's down in the description. Please pop the link. Okay, hold on. I shall do that. I shall. Give me a second here. Open link in new tab. Here, hold on. I'm just going to trim this link down a bit because it's added lots of stuff onto the end that sometimes causes problems. It's currently at £3,450 of the £1,500 goal, which is pretty good. I'll get rid of that Nun's PVC outfit link. Let me just go back to, there it is. Hold on, I'll post a link now. If you go down to the description, did I leave a link to her page? If you go on YouTube and you search for Chapel Chicks after the stream, you'll find that she's also showing the situation, the farm and the field that she's living on at the moment in her transit van, and the chickens running about everywhere. Fred Flintstone says, my Jag needs a GoFundMe. Yeah, a lot of us in this situation. Australian technical check, Austrian technical check is also yearly, says Horovac. Here in the Isle of Man, there is no MOT, which means that, it's not uncommon to find bits of brakes, like the brake pad. Well, not the brake pad, but the metal bit that was supposed to hold the brake pad, absolutely polished flat, lying in the road because it got so thin, it actually fell right out the blimmin' caliper of the brake. I've got one of those somewhere. I'm going to see if I can find that. I'll try and find it, but I don't find it. I'll be back in a second. I found it. This should make South Main Auto proud. This is someone's brake caliper with no brake left on it, and it got so thin that it actually dropped out onto the road because they don't actually, see, that's impressive, isn't it? There's supposed to be a brake pad on this, And it was supposed to be in there, but the pins have sheared off. Oh, it's dirty. Uh, it's a worthy thing from the road. It is just basically this is all that's left of their brake pad. It's not impressive. Didn't they realise it was making loud squealing and crunching noises? But anyway, it's a broke brake. It is indeed. The squeaking must have been horrible. Do you know, NR, the squealing noise that you get off the brakes is actually a little wire that when the brake gets too thin, the wire starts rubbing against the brake drum and it actually makes that squealing noise, the brake disc. Once you ignore that and you go beyond that, it then goes to this. I suppose the next thing is that I suppose they're calipers, the little cylinder in the middle of the brake hydraulic ram will probably be having a braking effect. I think that vehicle may need a bit of maintenance because this is quite thin for a brake. I should put that down there. Exciting. It is a no brake pad. There is no braking at all. Vera Lockhart says, "Hi Clive, could you say hello to Ray? He's your number one fan." Hello, Ray. It is a bit warm, Peter S. Oh, Julian, my brakes are squealing, says Julian. You might want to take a wee look at those because that probably means the brake pad is down to the point that little telltale wire is making that squealing noise. It might not be, it might just be squeaky brakes. Sometimes they are squeaky. Honestly, Julian, if you watch South Main Auto, it will just open your eyes to, it's really fascinating. Just watching him, Erico, doing brake changes. He's all embarrassed to say, oh, not another brake change. Like I say, oh, not another LED lamp. But you're looking at it and thinking, as he talks through what he's doing when he changes the brakes, it's actually really interesting because everyone has subtle differences and it shows you so much. He doesn't realise this because he's a mechanic and to him it's just like ordinary mechanic daily work. But to us it's quite interesting. South Main Auto. Eric O. is very interesting. He's characterful. He's also quite bearish, but he has a girlfriend. Well, a girlfriend. He has a wife and kids, not a girlfriend. Anyway, yes, Eric O. I won't lie. Bit of a stroller daddy. Embarrassing. Yes. Bob Sacamano, South Main Auto, not a sponsor. See, I thought I was copying Eric over and I said, not a sponsor. Until I asked him about it and he said, no, I copied that from someone else. So everybody on YouTube copies everybody else. The brake squeaks a turn on. I'm not so sure it is, Tom Harrison, once you realise what's happening. Bungo the Bear, what the fuck is a stroller daddy? Allow me to look that up for you. Stroller daddy. Stroller daddy Urban Dictionary. Chiefly US gay slang for large, burly, beefy, good-looking, well-built straight men who are forced to walk around a mall pushing a stroller pram in UK, and go shopping with their big, fat, ugly wife. His wife isn't fat or ugly. Look at the forearms in that stroller daddy. What a waste he's married to that fat bitch. By Scott's Bear. I'd like to point out, I did not put this definition up. Stroller daddy is basically handsome men pushing prams and therefore even more desirable because they're clearly unavailable. Oh, it's time for I have to choose Florian Schneider or Nicholas Callan for the Jägermühlen. There is only one Jägermühlen left. I think it's going to be to both. Florian Schneider for Kraftwerk, for the robots, or Nicholas Callan, who was a priest who did pioneering work with induction coils and batteries. What the fuck were they doing in the Catholic Church? That's very odd. That sounds most ungodly. So, this Jägermühlen is to Florian Schneider of Kraftwerk and Nicholas Callan of the Catholic Church and high voltage, electro voltage, iron, cast iron nuns, apparently. That sounds worth it, as long as the priest gives it, the Pope gives it his approval. To cast iron nuns, indeed, rubber cast iron nuns, dielectric nuns. Vocoder, Julian Eilert. What? Did he can't have invented the vocoder. Hold on, just give me a second here. Career flute. Originally, Schneider's main instrument was the flute, quite cheap and nasty, but which he would treat with electronic effects, including tape echo, ring modulation, pitch to voltage converters, fuzz, and wah-wah. That's quite ambitious for a flute. He also played violin and made use of synthesizers. Yay! Both the melodic instrument, I've got a synthesizer, and Access Virus keyboard. David Bowie touted his Heroes instrumental type after Schneider, and was heavily influenced by Kraftwerk sound during his Berlin period. Not that type of period. He's a sound perfectionist. Oh, he sounds a bit anal. I don't see any commenting of vocoders here, but vocoders are good. Hooter called him a sound fetishist. Oh, that sound. Oh, and vocoding speech synthesis. Vocoder. Indeed. A vocoder basically lets you play your voice through a synthesizer and gives that Daft Punk sort of one more time sort of look sound. Who played Skin Flute, Zane the Magic Puffer Dragon? You may have brought that down to the flesh level again. Are you and Ralphie going to do a live stream together? We did a live stream. Jack had. We did a live stream on Christmas Eve, the last Christmas Eve. I finally managed to get Ralph to do it. Autobahn. When you can't sing. Well, yes, autotune. No, the vocoder is different. The vocoder was used as a musical instrument before autotune. Actually, the vocoder didn't necessarily correct the pitch. It was just used to... it's not autotune. The original vocoder is just using your voice to drive a synthesizer. But it was the precursor to autotune, Neil Sheriff. That is correct. Keen to see more on Julian's vocoders. Julian been building a vocoder. James Harris, I know he'd been building synthesizer modules. Using all those circuit boards from GLC. Oh no, Kieran Kennedy, my wine is finished, but mine is not. Hee. Didn't Pink Floyd develop it? I'm not so sure about that. So just so you know, it is currently 0004. It's 4 minutes into the morning here. The stream will end in 15 minutes. I think that's reasonable enough. That will be 20 past-ish. Jonathan Hughes, what flute did Peter Pan play? The pan flute. I think he probably, given his appearance, he probably played the pink flesh flute probably. Yeah, the poop shoot. Oh, God. Yeah, remind me not to do this. ELO vocoder. ELO were just so far ahead of their time, Brendan Perkins. Monty Boy, how could I build a power supply to light a 9-watt fluorescent up lamp? Would you really do you not want to do LED? Steely Dan, student of perfectionism. Sometimes they get too anal over their perfectionism and it actually makes it quite unpleasant to people working with them. Been there. Stream continues until it's no longer Saturday in any time zone on Earth. I don't even know when that would be. Lots of people in groups have added to the vocoder and synthesizer. The Chipmunk says, I do have a vocoder input, a microphone input on my synthesizer that I've never ever tried. 45 RPM, Mr. Blue Sky. The less said about that, the better. We did Mr. Blue Sky at the Royal Edinburgh Military 2 with a live vocoder, and it did not work. But less said about that, better. It was just all over the place. And the audio department were saying, oh yeah, it's because the guy is going, Mr. Blue Sky, and that was incompatible. But it turned out that the vocoder had another frequency assigned to it from a different preset they didn't really know about, and it was just going, Mr. Blue Sky. It was just all over the place. And we had lasers. The lasers were all over the place as well. I shot the audience. We had to do a shutdown the lasers. That was my fault. I take full responsibility for blasting a laser right into the audience. These things happen. It was a mistake. But anyway, yes. And then we shut down the lasers. It will actually be available after. I've not said anything too bad. I don't think, Victoria, at least maybe once I'm sober, I'll maybe rethink that. But it will go out probably. Have I said anything really bad? I've not said anything litigious. I think, apart from the Catholic Church, but who gives a shit about the Catholic Church? What colour laser? It was an RGB laser. So I actually shot them with every layer of the spectrum simultaneously. Because a 3D printed attenuator had been bumped and knocked out of alignment, and the laser was out of alignment. It wasn't supposed to point directly into the audience, and the attenuator had been knocked out, and the central core, through the diffraction grating, just blasted right into the audience. And I don't think anybody noticed, except the person who was rendered blind permanently. I don't think so. But it was a bit of a moment. And then afterwards, we found that the when you hit the emergency stop, it caused a lot of problems. We had to get Jerry back from the pub, the lighting designer, after the show. He was not pleased. And he had to come back up, and he was like, it took him a long time to actually unlock that from the lighting desk, because it turned out it was useful to know, but it's something that we hadn't expected. We've not used lasers since. It turns out the lasers, the waterproof lasers, are not Scotland resistant, and that moisture will ingress and then cause condensation on the front output aperture, and that condensation will cause massive diffusion of the beam. It was a fucking nightmare. Not just the fact, but it also detracted from valuable pub time. The image is frozen here. I think it's still broadcasting. Yes. It detracted from valuable pub time with me walking around in the stands after every single show, waiting for all those old grannies to get down the fucking stairs in their fucking Zimmers, just so I could actually get the lasers turned on, and I could go around routine and go, oh, there's a bright dot, what's the intensity, and then relay the intensity back to Vince, the crew chief, who'd then log it online onto the computer for the online forum that logs our laser levels online. And yet, strangely enough, you go to your cheap, shitty nightclub, and Disco Dave, the fucking DJ, just blasts his laser right into the audience's eyes at much higher power than ours were for a professional show. That's quite annoying. But anyway, we've not had lasers since, and I don't think we'll be having them back again in the near future. I probably did say the F word, fast flow. Does laser begin with an F? Probably. Ours did. What's the worst experience you've had while repairing electronics? Belfast boy from Oz. Belfast from Oz? That'll be a culture change. But you'll like Belfast. I bet you like Belfast. It's a nice place when it's not having its bad moments. But the worst experience was the early days of electronics when we had variable frequency motor drives. And it was the first variable frequency motor drives before they discovered how to stop them going bang, and they went bang, and they went bang really expensively. It was the early days, 3-phase into a shitty 1980s fucking circuit board. It was just an absolute inferno in the early days. You guys don't know what you're getting these days. The variable frequency motor drives you get these days are based around dedicated chips. I should buy one off eBay, shouldn't I? I should buy a Chinese variable frequency drive, open it up, and take a look at all the circuitry, the power supply, which is basically a bridge rectifier and smoothing capacitors and inrush limiters. And then it's a dedicated chip just for variable frequency drives. We didn't have those. We had things that looked like the circuit boards out of Atari Tempest, absolutely smothered in chips with little transformers interfacing with very early MOSFETs possibly. And it was just like turn the power on, put your fingers in your ears and wait, and for the bang. It was just a terrible experience. You guys don't have that. It's all evolved now. You don't get that experience. It was horrible. That's why I stopped clubbing. Phil, you're right to do that. If you go into a nightclub and the DJ is pointing a laser directly into the public, you should just leave the nightclub straight away because they're clueless fucktards. They are. What's the word for that? What's the word for modern DJs or DJs in general? There is a word for it. I've forgotten what it is. Let me think about this for a while. It's not contrarians. There is a word for this. Narcissists is the best way to describe many DJs these days. Up their own arse, fucktards, expert electricians in everything, apparently, working for shitty event companies and firing lasers directly into people's eyes. They are arseholes. Just outright arseholes. That's all I'm going to say. That was a mini rant. Clueless fucktards would do, Nick Norton. That's absolutely ample. Little Picker says knob jockeys. Graham Shaw says, you got it right, fucktards. So many of them are just... Ian Cooper says cockwombles. Matthew Beddow says wankers. All good descriptions of some DJs. Dick jockeys, I think, might be a better description of them. Yes, indeed. That was a rant. I did quite well. Have I had a rant in this stream? We've got 8 minutes to go on the stream. I just thought I'd mention that. Just 8 minutes of rant time, and I won't try and save this last bit of wine for that. It's not going to last that long. Laser twats is not even... So working with the professional laser companies in the event industry, they have to be really serious because there's so much legalities involved as opposed to your local nightclub where some pished up person... UK Skin says, I was a pro... DJ for 25 years. I'll try not to be too offended. Did you use stroboscopes and shine lasers in people's eyes? And did you present yourself as a fully professional electrical expert is the question. I won't name the company that's coming to mind that does a certain type of lighting outdoors, and one day electrical certification is not enough for live electrical work outdoors in the public in a wet environment in the dark. Let's not go there. Anyway, that was a micro rant. James says, agreed, I used to be a DJ and tried so hard to do it perfectly. Seamless changeover, matching the style of the next song so it flows nicely. Carol Cox comes to mind. The DJ at my local coffee shop because he's right into the TT. And Connor Cummins, who owns Conrod's, which is my local coffee shop, just randomly had Carol Cox, one of the world's greatest, most famous DJs, who uses 3 decks and synchronizes 3 decks simultaneously with vinyl to overlay them. Look it up online, Carol Cox. In fact, look up... what's the best track for that? Carol Cox. UK Skin, professional. I worked 3 days a week and made a living from it. That's pretty good. No, I'm not an electrician. Laser, I've disconnected them at other venues when needed. Yes, indeed. What's that? Big ram, bold ram, rougher in, tougher in. Other words, sucker, there is no other. I'm the Dominator. Dominator. Look up Carol Cox, Dominator, and you'll see him operating at his best. Curious HVAC guys here with his much shorter beard. I think my beard may actually be longer than Bill's Curious HVAC because we trimmed it shorter. That makes me feel better because I cannot grow a beard as long as Bill's. Bill's is ridiculous when he lets it grow. It's proper ZZ Top. Carol Cox live at Amnesia Ibiza. That sounds like it. I've never been to Ibiza. I should go to Ibiza, but with an open mind, Wavemaker. It's not my style of place, but I'd go there to look at the wiring, as I always do. I go to theme parks. Am I there for the theme park and the fun ride? No. I'm there to look at all the technology behind the scenes. This is how it goes. Cambridge March says, buffering is terrible tonight. Maybe just in your area. I'm not sure. Human Resource. Dominator. That's it. Wow. I'm Big Ram, Bold Ram, Rough Ram, Tough Ram, otherwise sucker, there is no other. I'm the Dominator. Indeed. If you go to Amnesia, take your laser glasses with you. That, to be honest, UK Skin, take glasses that block out every wavelength, because they're firing out red, green and blue indiscriminately. It'd be quite good. Julian Eilert says, no buffering here, that's good. 10 to 15 years ago it was a blast, but today, nah, yeah, Wavemaker. That was in the past. I am in the past. I'm old. But still like dance music. Current favourite track that I've been playing quite a lot is not dance music at all. It's Coldplay, Adventure. I think it's called Adventure. Adventure Lifetime. The Monkey video. It's very well done. Go in fancy dress as Ray Charles. I'm not even sure what that means, Matt Tester. 3 minutes to go to the end of the stream. Welding glass, the way to go. Hold on, I'll go and get the glasses that you need. I have them close by. I did have them close by. No, I don't have them close by. Isn't that typical? Like, I've seen them all week, and it's the video I want to make. It's brazing glasses. It's like a pair of sunglasses that with the solar panel in them, that they actually go dark. It's like welding glasses, except you'd end up with sunburn in the shape of the glasses around them. End of stream shot for the Anzacs. We could have an end of stream shot. Oh, good idea. Hold on for the Anzacs. Hold on. The Radium Gin shot glass. Absolute vodka, quite posh for me, since I normally just drink raw ethanol. A wooden stirrer stolen from Conrod's, the coffee shop, where Carol Cox is apparently the DJ, as routine during TT week. And something special that will annoy Ralph. Hickory liquid smoke, apparently based on oil though, so I'm not really sure about this. We shall test this. Will it convert Smirnoff vodka to whiskey if I put 2 drips in? Is 2 drips too much? That's probably too much. It's on top. It is not mixed in because it's oil. That's quite disappointing. But ethanol should act as solvent. Stirrer from Conrod's coffee shop in Ramsey on the Isle of Man. Famous TT racer, mainly for crashing in the most spectacular manner ever, and also for having Carol Cox, one of the world's top, most famous DJs, DJing in his fucking cafe. Let's mix this in. Is it going to taste like whiskey? I need caramel for this, don't I? For the colour. Oh, that's the cask, apparently. I've just spilt this all over my Chromebook. It's okay. It's reached the age that it says, this Chromebook is about to expire and will not be updated. It smells very smoky. The Tinkering Shed says nope. It smells like barbecue flavour liqueur. It's all right. If someone had told me this was whiskey, I would have gone, very smoky. It tastes like barbecued whiskey. It tastes all right, actually. Dylan Lau says, thanks, Clive. First live stream I've attended live did not disappoint. Most of my live streams don't disappoint, usually because they degrade into drunken filth at the end. But the stream has Clive. Check out the Arab Strap. They're a Glasgow folk cook. EDM smutty lyrics. You love them. Zach says. Okay, I've not heard of that. Zach and Clive. Check out Arab Strap. They're a folk cook. Indie Cross linked with EDM smutty lyrics. I should check that out. It makes me think of the Arctic Monkeys, was it? Who said, yeah, that track that propelled them to fame because it was so inappropriate. The one about the hookers and all the sexual disease and this, but he's a scumbag, don't you know? That song. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, the stream is coming to an end. Michael Thompson is here. Have you just arrived, Michael? I've not spotted you early in the stream. Bad time, but that's okay. The stream has been recorded. You can view it in its full drunken glory, including carbonated wines. You know it's going to go bad. It did involve PVC nun costumes and things like that. But let's look past that. Very smoky. That was the Anzac aspect. There's a boat locally called Anzac. Anzac being New Zealand military veterans or something like that. I'm not really sure. But anyway, the stream is about to come to an end. It's 12-year-olds. I'd actually have to add 3 drops for that. Now, there is a little bit of wine left. I could go on a little bit longer if you want. You guys make the decision. Do I go on for another 8 minutes or not to make it a nice round figure? Or do I just round it off to a 3.5-hour stream? Yes. Yeah, this is silly. I shouldn't even ask that. Jason Green, no, I can't tell you any more jokes because all my jokes, the only ones I ever remember are inappropriate. And they really are inappropriate, as in miscarriages and things like that, which isn't appropriate. Oh, which makes me think of a... I don't even want to say that, actually. That was very inappropriate. A co-worker who's right into, like, she was very prone to... I hope she doesn't see this. She was very prone to going running and power sports and super hyperactivity. Even when she was pregnant, don't do that. It's not good for your baby. And as a possible result, she had a miscarriage. And she came in one day and she was all down and... I don't even want to go here, actually. I made a terrible statement, but she was out the room at the time and I said... her vagina's broken. And it turned out, yes, it was. But anyway, let's not go there. Oh, God, it's already gone so badly wrong. But anyway, it was very hard saying to her, just while you're pregnant, don't do power sports. Do not do power sports while you're pregnant. Look after your fucking baby, okay? Right, that's the message I'm trying to emote here, is just like, if you're pregnant... don't do power sports, right? Just wait till the baby's born, then you can do power sports with the baby. Anyway, that's what happened. It's a terrible bombshell. Sorry, Cal. It was extremely bad. But this is what happens. Thank you, Daniel. Quick edit out an archive copy. No. Honestly, I want that message to go out there. If you're pregnant, don't do extreme things. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Don't do extreme sports. Let the baby evolve. Have the baby. And then you can do whatever you want. Just control yourself. Just control yourself for that time. That's a serious message. That is not getting edited out because that's quite an important message. Not being capable of having babies. Yeah, Peter Stevens, I'm sure a doctor said the same thing. I didn't see that to her. I was thinking, don't do it. I couldn't say that to her, but you know what? Maybe I should have said that to her. But anyway, yes, it is a public service announcement, Hemp Bear. Look after your babies. Michael Thompson says, in the 60s, mother were given congrats. Here's a case of cigarettes and a bottle of booze. And Coca-Cola used to say, they used to say, Smoking helps evolve your baby's brain. This is the same smoking industry that kills as many people who died in the total in the Armageddon is not the word for this. What was it again? But the smoke industry kills as many people died every year as died in the total. I've forgotten what it is. Yeah, see, it's all gone very. Oh, see, this was a bad thing, wasn't it? Holocaust. That's the one, Zach and the J. Smoking globally kills as many people who died in the Holocaust, but it's not like a quick death, it's a horrible death. It's all gone serious, hasn't it? And you think, well, that's financially driven industry. Thanks, Pia D. Much appreciated. It's all gone Pete Tong, the tinkering shed it has. That's a DJ in the UK who it's just everybody said his nickname was Tong, so it was everything's gone. It's all gone Pete Tong. It's all gone wrong. What do you do when visiting Belfast? I'm from here, James P. I was working in the Grand Opera House. They sent us over to work in it during its dark period when they were the armoured vehicles were there and people were firing guns into the air and there were big bonfires and people were in IRA costumes. It was all a bit interesting, actually. It's when I was watching the BBC and the BBC said, we've seized these bombs, and you're looking at the bombs going, oh, fuck yeah, that is the perfect way to make a bomb. You think, why is the BBC even showing this? They showed pipe bombs. Up to that point, I didn't realise how to make the perfect pipe bomb. Thank you, BBC, for showing that on TV in fucking Ireland, you dicks. You absolute dicks, BBC. You shouldn't show stuff like that. Least of all the mortars that you showed, which you're thinking, oh yeah. That was an instant, just looking at that picture on the BBC gave me an education in IRA bombs. And it was like, what a bunch of dicks showing that. But anyway, that's what happens. Belfast, where I got pished for the first time in my life and ended up pole dancing in the Kremlin. But let's not talk about that. And then wandered in the following day with a hangover, wandered into the red light district and discovered the maid magazines in the porn shops. It was an educational time. Good crew. I liked Belfast. I didn't like the hangover, but I liked Belfast. It was a nutters. Just utter nutters. Like the Irish are well up to Scottish standards in being nutters. Let's not talk about that, Graham. It was the Kremlin is in Moscow. Yes, the Kremlin is also in Belfast. It's Belfast's biggest gay bar. You think one of the most. If you think of Belfast, you think IRA and Irish violence, and you don't see what's there. And it was interesting. Maid magazines, Kevin Hardesty. All I can say is go on YouTube, right? Not YouTube, but eBay, and search for Sissy Maid and see what comes up. Sissy Maid PVC, see what comes up. It's a completely different facet. It's like, it's only permitted by carbonated wine. We can't talk about that in public. Zach and the J, my two best friends are Scottish and Irish. They're probably completely nutters. They're just, it seems to be a Scottish-Irish thing. The Scots are very similar to the Irish, and it's very, very wild. They had a pole dancing bar, they did. There was a pole dance, yeah. It was a communal, MD could dance in the pole, I danced in the pole. I feel the shame. But also a sense of pride in pole dancing in Belfast in a gay bar. Yes, anyway. You must visit Belfast again sometime. I plan on visiting Belfast again, James P. Do you know what? It's nice that we were told you're going to have to leave the theatre. We've had a bomb threat. Because it turns out that blowing up vintage theatres is very, very good publicity for the IRA. So after an incident when they shit their pants and they basically, thank you, Daniel Meakin. They basically had a vehicle full of explosives with a time delay on it, and they abandoned it right outside the Grand Opera House in Belfast. And they didn't really mean to blow up the big theatre, but they did. And it got so much publicity that IRA said, yay, and decided to target the Grand Opera House in Belfast in future. Mrs. Brown's Boys, a television series. Mrs. Brown is the drag queen of pantomime at the Grand Opera House, sectarian pantomime. It's Ireland, that's all I can say. The main thing I remember that is that the blast wall in the theatre, they built a thick wall with pipes through it, was a real bitch to get cables through. That's my perspective on it. But it was interesting. Very interesting. Sissy Maid, what the fuck, Dad? Yes, Electron Box. You deserve it. If you searched on eBay for PVC Sissy Maid, you deserved what you got. That is eBay for you. Don't buy too much. The Chipmunk says the IRA were silly in the 80s. They could fuck up any bomb they tried to make. It's not that hard. You know what? You want to look at the Muslims for fucking up making proper devices, because to be honest, Ireland, they were more technically capable, and they made pretty malicious devices. I got picked up at the airport while working in Armagh, which is also a bit of a terrorism type place. And the taxi driver, as happens without any alcohol involved, we got talking about technology, and then it went in the direction of explosives. It was interesting. He knew quite a lot. Armagh, notable that I went into the local supermarket. Steve the engineer, I love it, keep going please. I went into the local supermarket, and at the checkout there was this big candy tub, this sweet tub full of gay pride ribbons, and I thought, oh, that is so inappropriate. I'm a bit awkward here. I don't see them going. End of the week, everyone was gone. It makes me realize that the number of gays that were, it's like the IRA were known to be gay friendly because they knew that there were a lot of gays in their midst. It turns out they were all terrorists. Fundamentally, gay terrorists. That's just how it is. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm never going to drink white wine in this stream again. He lied. But that's it. Not PVC latex, Mr. Mocky. Do not search for latex. That is just gets worse. It just gets very worse. Oh. James P says, yes, I am from Armagh. It was the Trian Centre I worked in, where the guy was on the floor in his little bib overalls, and he was like polishing and French polishing the floor. And what was it I did? I did something terrible. I was like using some, I can't remember what I did, but the lighting above, something ended up pouring down from above onto his lovely wooden floor. And I was like, oh fuck, and then I'm scraping it all up and then trying to French polish over the damage. Much as the RSAMD, the Conservatoire, their wondrous fucking artistic lovey darling stage that I dropped a screwdriver on that stuck in vertically, and I ran down before someone spotted that I dropped it into their precious dance stage. And there was a young lady going there, it's actually penetrated the stage. And I said, yes, I think we'll remove the fucking evidence and run away. Goodbye, madam. Yes. Anyway, things like that. Where the bastards, my tools, how the fuck are you supposed to get to fucking Ireland with your fucking toolbox on a plane? Jesus Christ, they went through the whole thing. Oh, not to worry. It happened. Oh, Grant Rennie's off to bed, I guess. But anyway, that is it. I've lost track of time. I think it's 5 minutes to end, probably. I really don't know. Yes, it was. It was actually supposed to end now. We will have a woofle then. I'm not really sure. It is woofle time, yes. I should feel a sense of pride at the conservatoire that my screwdriver did stick into the stage vertically. The conservatoire where the electrical contractors who'd run in the supply to our electrical distribution terminated the cables without actually fucking stripping them. That's a really shit fault to find when they've actually, their dumb labourer electricians have actually terminated a cable without stripping it into a circuit breaker. So the cable's there and you don't even think, why the fuck am I not getting power here? Well, because it's clamped onto the insulation because somebody used a labourer to do electrical work. Oh, NICEIC, yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, woofle. Oh my. Seems inappropriate after talking about Ireland and its troubles, although it was quite interesting being over there. When I was young, woof, it was all Ireland, death, death, death on the BBC, the government's mouthpiece. And when I went over to Ireland, I went over thinking, oh, Ireland, death, death, death. It turned out Irish actually a lot of fun. So let's just ignore the BBC and actually say that Ireland is quite a fun place to be. It has its troubles, it has its politics, as does Glasgow with the Orange Lodge and all that. But when it comes to crunch, it's a lot of fun. And to be fair, when I lived in Glasgow, my next door neighbour downstairs was a prominent member of the Orange Lodge, possibly a leader of the Orange Lodge. I jokingly made her a fibre optic Christmas tree with LEDs in red, white and blue royalist colours just because it seemed appropriate. It was probably inappropriate, but it was quite funny and she loved it, so who cares? It's that thing. The stream will end in 3 minutes. It will end in 3 minutes this time because I don't think the wine's going to last any longer. This stream went all over the place. This is ridiculous. I should feel embarrassed and yet strangely I'm not. Oh well, this is what it's like. It's real. Oh, and Ireland, the Grand Opera House, Belfast, the flyman, Marius, had a goatee and a shaved head, and I thought, that looks pretty cool, actually. So that's the first time I ever shaved my head was in Ireland because I thought Marius looked pretty cool. It turned out Marius was a bear. Well, there you go. Who knew? These strange things. The chipmunk says, don't be embarrassed. The worst thing is I'm not embarrassed because I kind of know that you guys are... Well, there's 1,300 watching now, so what can I say? Technical family is a bit weird. Thank you, LJK. How big can you make them bubbles, Clive? Well, the snag is if they go too big. There is the 100mm diameter one, which is actually too big. We've tested that, and it was actually too big. It was literally too big. It was like, oh, strange burning smells in the room afterwards. But if you go too big with the whiffler, it all goes floppy, and then it goes all over the tank, and then it still goes, but it's a bit sort of uncontrolled, so you can't go too big with the bubbles. Statue of Liberty. I don't think she does pose like that. That's called the Statue of Liberty. Voguing. We have 1 minute left of the stream. And I did stay awake for the whole of it. That's pretty good. And there's still a bit of wine left. I shall drink the rest of the wine. But Belfast, by the time I came back from Belfast, my attitude to the Irish that had been pushed in by the BBC, they're all murderers, had changed completely. I like the Irish. The Irish and Scots got on very well. We're so compatible. We're the same type of people. But anyway, the stream is coming to an end, but there will be another stream. STL files and Discord pin, I'm not so sure about that. If you want STL files, you have to learn how to use OpenSCAD, because OpenSCAD lets you adjust parameters to your own choosing and then compile them as an STL file. It's not that hard. Try it. Look, copy and paste my script as if you're doing a document into OpenSCAD. Press the double arrow thing, which is the high speed. It just builds it quickly. Once you've actually got adjusted the variables and they're clearly marked as what you want, Click the little hourglass symbol and it will actually build. It takes a bit longer, depending on the processing speed of your computer. It will build the full 3D model and then just press STL and save. And that's you got your STL files, but customized to your exact requirement, such as OpenSCAD. OpenSCAD indeed, Rodney Mackay. But the stream is about the script that Woofler is on this channel, Big Clive Live. If you just search for Woofler, you'll find a video marked Free Woofler. It's in there, but obviously I don't recommend building it because it's very dangerous. But it does fit American fuel cans as well as British fuel cans and other fuel cans around the world because they're all fairly standard. OpenSCAD is something very different indeed. Anyway, good night. I shall be uploading videos as usual during the week, and then I shall see you next week for another live stream, probably not involving carbonated white wine, but you just never know. Good night, sleep well, or have a good day, whatever you're doing. Good night.